Hello and welcome to Media Lit, where we treat each piece of media like great literature. I am your host, Randy Elaine, and joining me, as always, it's Kris Ingersoll. Kris, how you
Y-
doing tonight?
So good, Randy. Thank you very much for welcoming me in. You know, Chris don't dance with pineapple, but I do dance with our very special guest that's here with us tonight, and so I'm ready to dance the night away.
I'm totally representing pineapple tonight, in solidarity with my boy Dave Bautista, because he walked through a pit of danger. He walked alone in this very movie. And that's what I'm here to do, representing the popbreak.com. Of course, my name is Bill Bodkin. Uh, 14 seconds removed from watching tonight's feature. And I'm going to sip out of the sippy cup with the longest straw I could find. I hope
That's
this goes on YouTube. So
amazing.
But when we asked for Bill, we asked him to come in fresh, and he took us seriously, and he's here and ready to go. So, Bill Bodkin, we are about to talk about a property that takes place by the sea, which is
uh,
why we are all sporting some summer wear tonight.
yes, you might not see it, but I'm wearing the Summer Shark collection from my favorite clothier, Jetty. I believe if you look at the back of my shirt, there are sharks on it
Oh yes, yes,
in
validated.
commemoration of Jaws' 50th anniversary, and that shark actually ended up in Jersey,
Nice.
in a lake not far from where my wife and I had our first apartment. So while I might not be colorful right now, I'm still gonna dance with this pineapple though.
You know, we New England boys love a Jaws reference, so thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, there
He's the
were
Peter Bench. He's a bench. He's a mensch on a bench, or the bench is a mensch. Who's to say?
yes, many local live viewings of Jaws around here. Kris is going to break down our fashion a little bit in just a moment, but before he does that, we are also representing the sea here. We've got Kris Ingersoll representing the North Shore of Massachusetts. I am representing the South Shore, and of course, Bill Bodkin, as always, representing the Jersey Shore. He is here to talk about a special film with us. But, Bill, before we get into our stuff, we just want you to take a moment to plug your pods, your digital culture magazine, and tell all the
Yeah.
good people where they can find you because you do so much to bring great content to the world and our network of friends and podcasting family.
Well, thank you, Randy. I really appreciate that. Well, if you must follow me, my good friends, I don't ask people to follow me on social media, but of course, I am the editor in chief of the popbreak.com. We are celebrating. This is year 16 for us. So go over to thepopbreak.com. Both Kris and Randy are hosts of podcasts over there. Kris, a host of Batman by the Numbers, our Batman centric podcast, which this summer we are spending with the Man of Steel himself. We're going to be having a Superman draft apparently soon, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And Randy is part of our Pod of Doom. Pod of Doom is part of our greater discography podcast. But my other stuff I do, I'm the co-host of Socially Distanced, which is our flagship podcast, which drops every single week on all your favorite streaming platforms. This past month, we've done the big three: Jurassic World, Superman, Fantastic Four. We just did an Art of Cosplay podcast that I really hope people check out in celebration of my co-host Amanda's third year as my co-host on Socially Distance. I'm the Bill and the Bill versus the MC. Bill and the Bill versus the MCU podcast, which is our my Marvel first watch, and Alex Marcus, my co-host, rewatch. We just finished up Phase 5, Thunderbolts, Daredevil, Born Again, and Ironheart, which was very good if you haven't seen it. Also, TV Break, our monthly TV podcast. And I'm launching a new podcast because I'm not busy enough. Myself and Michelle Chapman, we're doing a mini series called It's a Pod World. It's part of a larger series. We're talking to creators and creatives within fandoms. And we're doing a mini series on Disney. And our first guest is going to be AJ Wolf, who just published a new book from Simon and Schuster called Disney Adults. And she also runs this thing called Disney Food Blog, which is a very popular site for the last 20 years. So we're going to interview her. And also over on the Pop Break, I have tons of interviews with bands this summer. Dispatch, Robert Randolph. We have an interview with Sublime. I didn't do it. Our guy Sam Cohen did. So we have a lot of great content over there. I did like 100 and some odd podcasts last year, and I made a goal for myself. I'm like, I need to write again.
Yeah.
And so this year is my goal to at least hit 100 posts that I wrote solo. So getting there over 70 so far. So I'm very stoked for that. Also, part of Jersey's Best magazine from New Jersey Advanced Media. Go to jerseysbest.com. Got a whole bunch of stuff over there. And that's what I do. Follow the Pop Break on all forms of social media at the Pop Break.
Thank you so much, Bill. I think you outlined why we are so lucky to have you here tonight. And
Yep.
as far as I can tell, every time I log on to a computer, you've dropped yet another great music interview. So you seem to be well on your way.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, we've danced around it a little bit. We've made it clear that we've got the best guest in the world for a really fantastic film, and that we've got some fun fashion going on.
Well, your words, my friend, your words.
A final clue in this mystery box puzzle. If you have not deduced quite yet what film we're talking about, it is the sequel to the hit Knives Out. We are talking about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery from 2022. And yeah, we had to bring our best fashion. For those podlings who remember, when we talked about Knives Out back in the end of the winter, we had to come in our best sweater game for it. And in doing Glass Onion, we had to do the same. So, Bill, I feel like Bill's giving us Miles Brom here. He's giving us just like a
Oh,
casual
Hmm.
wow.
beachy t-shirt,
Ouch.
looking looking casual cool, my friend. It
I
it
was
takes
gonna
a
say,
lot of cool to pull off that casual.
Hmm.
Uh I think Randy's doing Peg. I can't quite tell, but it's a level of casual that we don't see elsewhere in the movie also. Um, with a much more accessible vibe. But Randy,
Yeah.
I have to tell you,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a pair of sunglasses look so transformative on a person since Benoit Blanc himself stepped onto that dock in Glass Onion. So thank you for rocking the
Whew.
shades.
Well, you said Bill was honoring Miles Braun, but I was kind of going for like a full like New England douchebaggy sort of vibe here.
you're getting real close.
Yeah, I've got sort of these face fitting sunglasses, which I'm going to abandon. Got the backwards hat. Uh, but just as a little treat, you need to see just how New England this hat really is. Uh,
Please do share.
yeah,
Fan
Oh,
the 8 spoke B, baby.
we've got
I was
the
just hoping it was like a pot of chowder on it or something like
yeah.
that.
This is the go-to hat. It's the
Yeah.
original six Bruins hat. Uh, it has been up and down every outdoor area of New England. Taken a dip in the Saco River in New Hampshire.
Yes.
It's a true New England hat.
I
So
see
I
some
got the
authentic
full
fraying at the brim,
flavor.
yeah.
Oh,
And
that's when you know it's a good hat.
and it wouldn't be New England, if we didn't shout out the Harpoon Company.
Harpoon
So
Brewing,
there we
baby.
go. All right.
Very, very nice. And yeah,
Well,
I've got a
I,
handful of flowery shirts, so
Chris, I have to let me put you over, my friend, my close personal friend. We have to talk about Chris Ingersoll here, not only representing the very Blanc uh, uh, scarf around the neck, which only certain gentlemen of a certain with a certain
Mhm.
how would you say a certain je ne sais quoi would adorn themselves with, and then wearing a very flowery, I would say a linen, so it's able to breathe for the Grecian air to really
yeah,
get in there and the salt to really exfoliate your epidermis.
yeah,
It's cotton, I
lovely.
think.
Dude,
What a line that was.
unbelievable. I'm so glad you said je ne sais quoi. I had a I had somebody tell me to my face that I lacked a certain je ne sais quoi.
Really?
Once upon yes, because, this was a director from LA. It was when I was working on the Tom Brady commercial, and I was Tom's photo double, and this director told me that, "You're a good-looking
Wait, are
kid,"
you as
but
tall as Tom Brady?
no, I'm, like, a little shorter than Tom and a little bit
Okay.
more yeah, he's a big guy, but I'm just close enough to pull it off when you need to. But yeah, I was told that, "You're a good-looking guy, but Tom's got a certain je ne sais quoi." It's like, I can live with that.
Oh yeah, as someone from the New York, New Jersey area, he's got a real je ne sais quoi, all right. I'll
I'm
leave it
just
at that.
thinking about this director who I strongly disagree with. I think they are what the French would call les incompetents.
Oh,
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
wow. Wow. I don't know how we even go forward with this
As Kennedy
podcast.
would say, "That's from Kevin."
Chris, thank you so much for introducing us to the fashion of Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. We're here to have some fun with it. This movie is here to have fun. It's got its own distinct vibe from the original, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But before we go any deeper, it would not be an episode of Media Lit if I did not hit you with my signature synopsis of the film. So let's just get that all out there. If you, like Kris and Bill, have not yet watched Glass Onion, go check it out now because I'm about to spoil the whole damn movie. Here we go. Miles Braun's inner circle, known as the Disruptors, each receive an elaborate puzzle box inviting them to a murder mystery party on a private island hosted by their tech mogul buddy, Miles Braun. Benoit Blanc also comes into possession of a puzzle box and crashes the crew's weekend get together in Greece. Thanks to another surprise guest, Miles' former business partner, Andy Brand, the beauty of the island gives way to the darkness of the bonds that tie this network of shitheads together. We eventually learn that they each perjured themselves in court to help Miles wrest Andy's half of the Alpha Corporation from her. Soon, things turn deadly when men's rights activist Duke Cody dies after drinking from Miles' glass. Miles panics, the lights go out, and a mysterious shooter kills Andy Brand, leaving Benoit Blanc to pick up the pieces. In the back half of the movie, we jump back to the start once again and learn that Andy was never Andy at all. She was actually Andy's identical twin sister, Helen, in disguise. Sadly, the real Andy was murdered, and Helen reached out to the great Benoit Blanc for help. Together, Helen and Blanc concocted a plan to resurrect Andy as a catalyst for their investigation. We run back through the main events of the first half of the movie from a new perspective. In a real life game of Clue, the sleuths suss out the motives and opportunities of the suspect before realizing that Miles killed Andy all on his own. Not because he is an evil genius, but because he's so dumb. Not so dumb that he's brilliant, just dumb. We also learn that he murdered Duke by pineapple allergy to help cover his tracks. Furthermore, we learn that Helen survived the shooting thanks to the bulk of her sister Andy's egotistical journal. She then uses her fake death to uncover the incriminating evidence at the heart of Miles' elaborate glass onion structure. Although the investigation is a success, Miles is able to destroy the only physical evidence of his guilt. Just when all hope seems lost, Helen teaches him a thing or two about disruption. She ultimately engulfs his island villa in flames, along with a priceless painting on loan from the Louvre. Not only does she destroy what Miles loved, but she does it by turning his poorly researched and highly flammable clean energy alternative against him. In doing so, she grants him his wish to be immortalized in the same sentence as Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Miles' reputation and business are ruined, and his disruptors finally decide to testify against Miles. Would you gentlemen like to add or comment on anything? Maybe just add a splash of Southern hokum to bring it to life?
Oh, we're introduced. Oh well, we're introduced to Benoit Blanc's significant other, his husband, the love of his life, which is always fun. Uh, I don't have much else to add, but I do love so much about this movie that I watched
Mhm.
now 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago, right?
It's now
Uh,
5 minutes ago.
I think you nailed it. You always do. I was as entertained by the mystery of your synopsis as I was watching the film. I think if anything, perhaps we could have found a moment to. I was looking forward to your cheeky reference to whatever Ethan Hawke was doing in this movie.
Yeah.
The one
He's fine.
cameo that we could have. There were a few good cameos, both like
Oh,
direct and indirect in this film. But he was a great one.
Yeah, he was really bringing the Moon Knight vibes to that part.
I
he
think he
really
was
was.
fresh off the set
Yeah.
from Moon Knight. I think he was filming both concurrently, yeah.
I believe that's true, yes.
You did fail to mention that the clean energy source was introduced to him at an ayahuasca ceremony, and I have
This
thoughts
is
on that.
key.
I have thoughts on that. Anytime someone's like, "Ah, I did ayahuasca," I'm like, "Cool, you shit yourself in a bathtub in Brooklyn. Congratulations." Never goes over well. Um, I have to speak my truth.
You get to see how, enlightened they really are in that moment.
Yeah, sometimes, not knowing what to say doesn't always not always just saying what you think with saying without thinking is not always speaking the truth.
Yep.
It's a great one
Yeah,
that I butchered 4 times.
I think you nailed it, bud.
I get it
All
eventually.
right. So we've done the synopsis, Randy. Thank you again for always doing that for us. You do such a great job of simmering down the very core tenets of anything we're talking about. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, it's time for us to get into personal connections. This is another fun one where we've got one member of the panel who goes back with this film quite a ways, and two of us who it was brand new for. So I'm excited to chat a little bit about how we each relate differently to this. So, Randy, let's just jump right to you. How did it feel going into this rewatch of the film? Um, Especially now that we've tied it into this little podcasting tradition.
Yeah, so I love the Knives Out franchise. I love Glass Onion. When I first brought the two of you in for this little adventure, it was because the first Knives Out is deeply, deeply personal to me. Thematically, it's something that really gets to the core of who I am as a person. And there's a lot of stuff that we'll unpack in this film that I feel strongly about as well. Some stuff that even feels a bit prescient as we look at the current political climate in the world. Um, and while I do love this movie, it doesn't hit me with the same sense of perfection that I get from the original Knives Out. At the same time, this movie knows exactly what it wants to be. It knows exactly what vibe it wants to get across, and it is just so much fun. And knowing that I was going to get to sit down with two guys who share my love for theme, for storytelling, made me all the more excited. I've watched this film 3 or 4 times now, and this was by far my favorite viewing. I got the most out of it
Right.
this time through, and I can't wait to hear what you guys thought.
Do you mind if I
Awesome.
counter? I'm curious why this time was the most enjoyable.
I think it was a little bit of what I hinted at with some of the things that were already becoming truer and truer in 2020, in 2022, manifesting themselves in even more extreme ways. Um,
Elon Musk.
and
Men's
you
rights.
know, because of all that, that this whole break the system solution, it's not quite as warm and fuzzy as Marta just being a kind soul to her core, being the thing that saves the day. This time we really have to get aggressive. We really have to break shit up. And that spoke to me more now than it did in 2022 even.
Well said. Well said. Well, Bill, we'll throw it right over to you then, sir. How did you feel going into this first watch of The Glass Onion?
This has been like so I remember first seeing the trailer and I was like, "Oh, I haven't watched Knives Out yet. Come on, Bill, get it with it." But, thanks to you, and this is how I get stuff done where I have to do homework. And, of course, the first Knives Out is great, right? It's such a Sherlock Holmes who done it. This felt more like um, an Agatha Christie, Hercule
Yeah.
Poirot type, like
Mm.
a Death on a Nile. This was their Death on a Nile, except, there was that one movie, but we don't talk about that. So what I was very excited, and I am often bad about watching stuff because I overcommit to everything. So I was doing way too much. I'm like, I'll do it today. I'm gonna do it today. And so went down to the last second, and about 15 minutes into the movie, when they get on the boat, I texted my wife. I'm like, "Why haven't you watched Knives Out yet? Because you need to now watch Glass Onion." She's like, "Didn't you just start it?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm telling you, it's this good already." And she's like,
Yes.
"Oh, okay." She's like, "No, no, no, I'll do it now." She's not gonna do it. She'll do it eventually. But it's so I was very excited, and I was like, how are they really gonna top that? Just like perfect mystery. Knives Out's almost a perfect film.
Mhm.
And, we'll get into my thoughts soon, but no, Bill dances with the pineapple. That's what I'm gonna say about this one.
Hey,
I'm gonna say
hey,
I'm dancing with the pineapple in this one.
Beautiful.
perfect. So my story is a little similar to yours, Bill. Of course, I am. This is my first watch of Glass Onion, and ever since we did Knives Out, and we established that we were going to follow it up with a Glass Onion watch, then we could be ready for the third entry into the series. I've been looking forward to it ever since. I've been giddy for it. I knew we were gonna save it for summer, we were gonna get into the right vibe, the right season.
Yeah.
Um, I played it just right in my personal life because, on my birthday, which is in early
Mm.
July, I get to pick, like, a
Oh, well,
birthday
happy
movie.
birthday. I didn't know
Thank
that.
you. July the 5th. It's me in America every year. Thank you, Bill.
You know who I like a lot more these days? You.
Thanks,
I'm
buddy.
liking you.
So,
Same.
on my birthday night, I always end the evening with at least starting a movie, something that's, like, purely my choice. It's my opportunity to show my wife something that either, like, I absolutely love and I think she might buy into, but, like, she wouldn't necessarily give it a chance unless it was a special occasion,
Mhm.
or it'll be something that is just, like, purely for me. "Sorry, this is what we're watching. Please enjoy it with me." Um, and this year, I chose Knives Out. Having watched it with you guys, I knew she would love it. I just needed the right opportunity to say, "This is definitely what we're watching. Let's check it out." And she was hooked,
Mm.
right in. Such a phenomenal film. It was an easy sell. And as soon as it ended, I said, "Guess what? I've got a pod coming up in a few weeks, and I have to watch Glass Onion." And
Nice.
so, very rarely do I get to share something with Kelly that I'm preparing for a pod. And I got to watch this with her. We watched it in 3 parts. We both were, like, exhausted trying to get a few more scenes, like, "No, we've gotta go to bed, we've got 2 more nights, we'll finish this, let's just make sure we're
Yeah.
fresh, I need to be locked in for this movie." That's really
Mm.
how I felt the whole time, I was like, "I can't have the eyelids drooping. My eyelids droop, I'm gonna miss the one frame that shows you the one thing that you need to unlock the mystery. I can't look away, turn it off, we'll come back to it tomorrow night." Had a blasty blast watching it, and I'm gonna have an even better time talking about it with you both.
Beautiful stuff. Now, I've talked a little bit about the timing of this movie already. And one thing that's it's impossible not to activate in your memory banks when you watch this film is just the height of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. They were filming this movie as all of that was going down. They decided to keep it in the film in a very real way. How all of this isolation was affecting Benoit Blanc. We've got jokes about masking and pods and all this stuff. Um, and I was curious how you both felt watching the film in that context. Did it evoke any memories, or did you simply have a favorite gag calling back to those times? Chris, I'm gonna go to you first on this one.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but not as, like, disturbing as I thought it was going to be, and perhaps it's important that not too much of the actual plot hinged on the idea of the pandemic and the shutdown and the isolation or anything. It was subtext and it was present for Benoit's character as we find him where he's at this point in his life. But, it was definitely more of like a, "Oh my gosh, look at this. What a time,"
Mm,
with, like, everyone showing up in masks, doing their best to or not their best, either doing their best to pretend that they care, doing their best to, like, actually care. Benoit Blanc has such a good mask, it's right up tight,
mhm.
he's doing everything right. But mostly it was the mesh mask for
Yeah.
me on Birdie. Just,
Oh my
like,
god, yeah.
the unapologetic, lack of participation in the process. Like, I
Yeah.
care so little that I'm gonna not only am I gonna not wear a helpful mask, I'm gonna wear an unhelpful mask. I don't even mind having a thing on my face, but fuck your protocols.
Yeah.
There was, like, that kind of person absolutely existed,
Chris,
and
that was just her pod, man.
Yeah. Oh my
yeah, I was
god.
just that question, dude, that got me. "Are you having a party? How m" No, it's these are all in my pod, all 50 of these people. Yo-Yo Ma is in my pod.
Yeah. What a touch. Bill, how about you? How'd you feel about the COVID of it all?
It was a little jarring at first because I
Mm,
totally forgot, that it was done during this time, and I was like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "God, I hated everything about that time." So, it was
mhm,
like so just seeing that, but what I liked about it was it lent itself to the madness, to the frustration, to
mm,
the boy. It added to the tension. Like Chris said, it was the subtext of just like everyone has just been, you know, stuck inside and they're all wound too tight. They're all going crazy. They're all going to go for these ideas. They're all going to do these things that are just like they're in the pressure cooker of it
mhm,
all. And I think that was really fantastic to do that. But it's also like now this movie kind of serves as a time capsule. Like
yeah,
there aren't a lot of films that really talked about this. We knew they were filmed in it, and when you could obviously
yeah,
see that the people were not on the set at the same time, or but it was it gets this sense of isolation, and you almost feel like it gives you this false sense of like, oh, all these friends are coming back together. They need to reconnect to this sense of community and this sense of friendship. No, that's all bullshit because they all hate each other, and is
Mhm.
and that's what we peel, and so that's the first layer we're gonna peel back. Oh, we all love each other. We've all been stuck inside. Oh my god, because we also because the film is asking us to do the mental homework of that of saying like, remember when you got back with all your friends for the first time and how beautiful that was.
Yes.
Well, we're going to pervert that
Mm.
because we're going to make it like this facade of everyone's so happy to see each other. No one is happy to see each other because they all have this dirty little secret about about they screwed over their friend. Oh, and they all hate each other because they're all horrible,
Mhm.
horrible, horrible people. Ryan Johnson has a great way of making awful people seem really nice at first.
That's so well said, Bill. When I first saw Glass Onion, I was a late comer on the original Knives Out, but I was so in on that movie that I saw Glass Onion like the first opportunity I could turn it on. I was there the second it became available on Netflix. And I remember at the time I was a little bit disappointed by the COVID of it all. I didn't want to be living in that moment anymore.
Yeah.
I was finally starting to feel myself breaking away from like the worst psychological effects a little bit, and I felt thrown back into it. And I was really worried about how well the film is going to age, and that might still come back around and feel like a problem many years in the future. But I honestly forgot if this was on the pod or just before we started recording, that this was my favorite viewing of the film. I gave some reasons for that, but I think another reason was I was pleasantly surprised by how well the COVID stuff aged for me,
Mhm.
particularly in how it affects Benoit Blanc himself. You take the world's greatest detective and you lock him inside without a mystery to solve, without someone to help, and he falls apart. We see him completely directionless, getting his ass kicked at Among Us by Angela Lansbury, um, which we'll get to.
Oh,
Uh,
we will. We will.
But yeah, like what happens when you take away his entire world and his ability to operate? What if you can't step outside to wait for the solution to fall into your lap at the terminus of gravity's rainbow? What are you gonna do? And this movie answers that question.
I do think that for anybody who, like, lived consciously through the pandemic, it will continue to hold up and perhaps
Mm,
continue to find nuanced layers. Um, I'm not certain in 15 years if somebody who didn't live through it consciously, it doesn't really name it. It just takes for granted that you know why they're wearing masks. You
yeah.
kinda know what this isolation it is that they're referring to. You know what she means by "they're in my pod." All of that is very much taken for granted as if it's, like, the most
Mm.
normal and assumed part of our society. And I'm curious in 15 years how that will if folks will be just genuinely confused, like, "Why are they what was this?" You gotta do a whole history lesson, you gotta Wikipedia deep dive.
Yeah.
We shall see someday.
I
Uh,
also like the aforementioned Ethan Hawke of it all because we see he just shoots something in their mouth,
yeah.
essentially. And you're just like, "Oh, of course, well, Ed Norton is a genius, his character's a genius." And then when we end the film, you now like, I recontextualize that whole character of just like, it probably was Banaka
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
some scope,
No,
you
it was
know what I mean?
Lysol. It was Lysol.
It was Lysol mixed with that horse thing.
Horse
Oh, what
tranquilizers, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the horse had Invetermicin or whatever it's called, yeah, so it's probably something like that. I was just like, "Wow, they probably all have coke."
Well, now that you've
Yes.
yeah, now that you've mentioned Ethan Hawke, let's just jump into it. Bill, what was your favorite cameo in the film?
Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Well, first off, let me shout out to my dad, his first cinematic crush ever, Angela
Nice.
Lansbury.
Beautiful.
Respectfully, Google Angela Lansbury, like, young. She is a very attractive lady. When you see her young, you're like, "Wait a second, Angela Lansbury was young?" Because we all know her from Murder, She Wrote, and I just love the fact she was talking shit,
Yep.
to Benoit Blanc, who is, wearing a stupid hat in his bathtub,
Yep.
with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Yes.
and Natasha Lyonne, which I don't even know. I guess Poker Face was out by then.
No, 2023 was coming
No.
out. I think they were working on it
Yeah, it was
perhaps, but it
in
wasn't out
Oh,
yet.
geez,
Yeah.
like, so
it was
it
in
wasn't even out.
development, another Rian Johnson joint.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, was that yeah, that makes more sense, but yeah, oh, man. So I just love that she was just giving him crap. Ah, it was just the great dame herself, man. I just love this because
mhm.
I cackled. So you guys don't know. This is completely tangential. I am often the guy if you go see a movie with, the one guy laughing at that joke loudly.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's what I did when I saw Angela Lansbury
Love that.
because I was just like, "This
Yes.
is great."
I love both being with that guy and being that guy, so respect, Bill. What about you, Randy?
One day, we're all hanging out.
Oh, don't even tease me.
Oh,
Um, oh man, there are so many good ones, but I'm gonna since we're in the personal connections section, I'm gonna go with Natasha Lyonne. When I saw the film, I did not know how much I was going to love Poker Face when it came out, but I was aware that Poker Face was in development. I knew what it was supposed to be. I was a big Russian Doll fan. I'm one of the
never
few
watched that.
people who even loved season two. Not as good as the
Ooh,
first season, but I still liked it. Um, and that wound up being one of those rare shows that my wife and I both love.
Nice.
Poker Face. So to see her here with Benoit Blanc and now knowing how much she deserves to be there with her portrayal of an investigator under unique circumstances, it really hit me. And then just my board game, like social deduction game nerd self, just loved that all of her solutions were like, "Have you tried this game? Have you tried that game?" It made me
oh,
feel closer to her.
when they pop me so hard when they're like, "What about Quiplash?" I'm like, "I
Yeah.
played that so many times with all my buddies, like my core like high school friends. We had Zoom meetings like every Saturday night to play the Quiplash.
Nice.
And I also love that Benoit Blanc sucks at board games because
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate board games. Like, I really don't like board games. And everyone's like, "Let's play a board game." I'm like, "How about I just go in the other room?" Because I really just hate them. So it's like Clue. I'm just like, "Ah, I just hate doing this."
Just making a mental
I
note, board games will not be part of my friendship with Bill Bodkin.
Well, Monopoly's
Noted.
fine. But I mean, like, the one game that makes everyone mad doesn't make me mad. But it's, yeah, when he's like, "Clue is such a dumb game." I'm like,
yeah, it's
"That's
amazing.
stupid."
I love the idea that a brilliant detective would find it so maddening to not be good
Mhm.
at Clue. It's
Running
stupid. Nothing
around
about this
from room
reflects
to
actual
room.
detection. Yeah, it's
Yes.
unbelievable.
Yes.
So good. Um, both great answers. I'm so glad you had a really close connection with Natasha Lyonne there, but I haven't seen Poker Face myself, but I do think that Kelly and I would both like it. Maybe now that we're so on the Ryan Johnson train, we'll have to check it out.
Well,
I was gonna say Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
For me, it's always Angela Lansbury. Uh,
Jessica, man.
A Tale as Old as Time, my friend.
song as old as rhyme.
Oh, buddy, you know,
Bed
every time
knobs and broomsticks in the house.
I
Yes.
I can't not think of the anecdote, um, of her walking in, like, flying in overnight for Beauty and the Beast, going right from the airport to the studio, walking in, one taking A Tale as Old as Time, and walking back out again. It's one of my favorite Angela Lansbury stories.
I didn't even know that was a thing, but,
Oh, yeah,
like, not a surprise.
right.
Jerry Orbach, on the other hand, take care.
Few takes that French accent he was working on. Uh, but
We call
you've
it
already
that.
yeah, you've done Angela, so we've given her flowers. I'll take the opportunity just to shout out, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Maybe some folks
Yeah.
don't realize,
Oh,
uh,
yes. I cannot wait to hear Bill Bodkin learn this
Ryan
tidbit.
Well, I'm now
Johnson,
learning it now. I know he's a cameo and everything, but how did I miss him in this?
because he's just the hour dong on the island. Isn't that
Dong.
amazing? It's
Yeah,
so good, right? Ryan Johnson's a
that's
fun filmmaker. He's like just a really fun filmmaker. So yeah, shout out to JGL and every director's got to have their guy. I'm glad that they're
Yeah.
buddies.
And this wasn't my personal one, but I just have to shout out in honor of all the theater and musical people out there, Stephen Sondheim
Yeah,
in the Zoom call. Not only someone who put together all these incredible works of art, But he also wrote a film called The Last of Sheila,
Mhm.
which is very much socialites on an island going on a deadly scavenger hunt.
Oh,
So
wow. I
having that shout out here, another ode to Agatha Christie novels in the house.
And apparently Kareem is a huge mystery fan also. He's written
Yep.
books on, what's his name? Sherlock Holmes' brother there. I can't believe his name is escaping me right now.
Yeah, not Enola, but I know who you mean. He was played by Stephen Fry in the Downey movies.
Exactly.
Um,
Uh, so
yeah,
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 a bunch of fun cameos in this, both like really obvious and a little bit less obvious. Mycroft Holmes, that's who I'm thinking of.
Micro. I also want to see Ryan Johnson do a funny thing happen on the way to the forum. That'd be great.
He can do anything.
My final stage play.
Beautiful. Before we move on to the episode's literature, I've got a special question just for Kris Ingersoll.
Oh,
Because, something happens in this film that I'd forgotten until I rewatched it yesterday. And at one point, Benoit Blanc is trying to explain his role as an investigator. And he tells Helen in the second half of the movie, I am not Batman. I have to answer to the courts and the police, and so on and so forth. But Kris, you've got two films of Benoit
Mhm.
Blanc under your belt. To what extent do you agree with his statement? And do you disagree to any extent? Is Benoit Blanc Batman, or does he have anything in common with the Dark Knight?
There are some phenomenal comic book detectives
Hmm.
who share many a quality trait with Benoit Blanc, and certainly on pure deductive ability. Um, the ability to walk into a room and just see it all, right? When he blows the murder mystery
oh,
party, because
Hmm.
he can just see it all. He doesn't even have to ask questions. He's just been observant. That's very Batman, right? Um, but that is the absolute end of the direct comparison. I think that Benoit Blanc distills it really beautifully when he points out that the reason he's not Batman is because, like, he is beholden to actual authorities. He'll do the investigation, he'll try to lay the truth bare, but then he just lets the system work. Batman very specifically is not into letting the system work. He does not believe
Hmm.
in the system. So while you might see him sometimes, they make a point of him like beating up criminals and tying them up for the GCPD. Ostensibly, he'll send them to the police only after he has beaten the pulp out of them.
oh
Like
yeah.
only after he has made sure he has delivered justice to them. But in other ways, Benoit Blanc is also less measured
Mm.
and less controlled than Batman. Like Batman, if he's gonna do something, he's gonna take direct action.
Yeah.
He needs to be in control. He needs to solve the problem. Benoit Blanc is very much okay with setting the board and then like sort of stepping back a bit and letting the pieces move as they will. There's an outcome he might hope for, but not necessarily one that he's going to directly manipulate himself. And that's very unlike Batman to leave anything up to chance. Like Batman's never whispering something to a character, giving them an opportunity and then saying, do with that what you
Yeah.
will. Especially not if that could lead to more harm than he would be willing to cause himself.
Beautiful. Kris,
But
can I just
that kind of makes him Batman a little way though, because he was just like, I like again, you're right. Batman's gonna be like, he's the one who's gonna knock all the glasses down and he's gonna light the fire. But I mean, he also is just like, we're gonna take this. He's complicit in that. He's like, we're not gonna get this guy, so
Yeah.
let's take this
yeah.
into our own hands. Whereas as opposed to the first film where he definitely, had police with him at all
Yeah.
times. And Chris, Captain America as snazzy as he looked, could not get away from Lakeith Stanfield.
Benoit was
Um,
definitely willing to allow for some vigilante
Yeah.
justice here. But that's why I think it's even more extreme than Batman because I think Benoit steps away and is ready to let Helen possibly kill herself and everybody else there.
Mm.
I don't think he wants that, but
no.
like Batman would have ways of being absolutely certain how that thing was going to explode, in what ways like the force would be pushed out this
Sure.
trajectory and that,
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
precisely calculated as opposed to just like, well, balls to the walls, baby. Like I got nothing left. I'm gonna burn it
Oh,
all down.
I wish he would have said it. He was like, oh, balls to the walls, madame. I would have been a corpse. I would have been dead.
Well, as a point of transition, I'm just gonna really quickly pitch a comic book to DC. So you just got to negotiate a little bit with Ryan Johnson and with Netflix. Uh, but if you listen to Batman by the Numbers, you know I once selected the Guild of Detection as my crime fighting team.
This is true.
I want a comic with Benoit Blanc joining the Guild of Detection. I want him to go on an adventure with all the DC heroes and solve one of the greatest mysteries. I would be
Amazing.
right there at the comic store. So just
Great.
saying.
Or Benoit Blanc and Guy Gardner. I'd be like, just call them the fashion police and let's go.
I was gonna say just to make over like episode.
Oh, he knows the guy. He knows the guy.
All right. We've had a chance to really get into our feelings and our personal connections here, but like let's dig into this film as literature. Now, admittedly, I did not put quite as much care into my graphic this time around, but I did present Kris and Bill
Yeah.
with a dossier of the main players in Glass Onion prior to their viewing.
My God, like I didn't put a lot of effort into it. It was like a Venn diagram. There
Glorious.
was like
Yes.
arrows. I'm just like, oh, okay, now I know every character going into this film. Yeah, I didn't put
So many
effort into it.
colors.
I
Yeah.
know.
You
It's like,
know,
come on.
follow Media Lit podcast on your favorite social media, and you can take a look at the Venn diagram. It's out there,
Yeah,
people.
it's awesome.
Now, this time around, I asked both of our guests not only to guess who the murderer was, but this time I asked them to guess who was going to die because, unlike Knives Out, we don't really know the stakes at the outset of this movie. The mystery is the box, the mystery is the invitation, the mystery is the party, the death comes later. We don't know what we're investigating until about halfway through the film. Um, so Bill Bodkin, Gumshoe, you're fresh
Yeah.
off the case. Walk me through any theories you had and what twists and turns perhaps most surprised you or most pleased you with your predictions.
It's usually they weren't great. But I went with I'm going with the two most famous people in this film. So I'm like, Ed Norton's gonna die because I had seen a clip actually on social media of the whole like what a disruptor is promo, I'll just
Mm,
call it for you wrestling fans out there. And I was just like, God, yeah, he's gonna die. Like anyone who says that shit is just gonna well, maybe just in my mind, like he has to go. But
mhm,
I was like, yeah, and then I'm like, Catherine Hahn's gonna do it because the reason I thought that was like one, she's the second most famous person in the film, and when you see that first scene of her, she's running, she's like positioning herself to run for office. She's very under the gun. She's very stressed out. And I was like, that's a person who would kill.
mm.
Guess who was wrong? This guy. What I loved was, and also hated, but I didn't really hate it, was as people know, lifelong professional wrestling fan, as people might not know, Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite Marvel like series of films. It is
Mhm,
I love them so much. People tell me the line they say to Drax in Guardians 3 where he was born to be a dad, my friend Kelly was like,
mhm.
"That line was written about you." And I was just like, "Thank you so much."
That's
And
the
I was
nicest thing anyone's
just
ever said.
cried. Just wept. I cried so much at that 3rd film.
Oh, dude, don't even.
Oh, the ending where, he when Peter reunites with his, you
With
know, that he looks exactly like my dad.
Oh,
Like,
mm.
too like, even the belt placement way too high on the pants, and I was like, "My god." Uh,
Beautiful.
but so when Batista bites it, I was like, "Son of a bitch, why has McDave gotta eat it?" And, but, it made sense because I'm like, "Okay, so we keep the 2 big ones on the table." I said, "That's cool." And then, of course, the twist of twists, the classic, it's the twin sister. That old film noir nugget, right? But you don't see it coming, and I think, like, part of it could be Benoit Blanc if he was watching the film, it's like, "That is so stupid." He would just
Yep.
think it was stupid because it was such, like, an obvious, like, tropey thing to do. But that's
Mhm.
this whole movie, and it subverts the tropes of
Yeah.
just like, "Oh my god, of course, like, here's the easiest thing, it's right in front of your face." You see the core right there, and that's what I loved about it. They're like, "We're gonna take the obvious stuff, but you haven't seen these gags in so long, and we're gonna do it in such a smart way, and it's gonna make so much sense when we explain
Yeah.
everything." Then that's what I loved about it. And
Yeah.
when it comes to being wrong, which happens to me a lot, I don't care if I'm wrong. I care if you tell it, but I don't need a film or a TV show, a pro wrestling angle. I don't need it to turn out the way I want it to.
Yep.
Just
Mhm.
make it entertaining. And
Yeah.
I love
Well
being
said.
wrong.
Yeah, I love that you said it that way, Bill, because, being the conniving little bastard that I am, I set you up for failure,
The
because I included
the least words I would ever describe you as
I know.
conniving. I don't know if you're tall or not, and I would never call you a bastard. I mean, maybe I would, but like in a
No,
loving
I
sort of way.
I know you appreciate me. Back on our when I went on socially distanced for Skeleton Crew, you called me the Neil of the pop
I
break,
mean,
which was the greatest compliment I've ever received.
It is
yeah,
Uh,
quite the
I
but
mean,
compliment.
yeah,
I mean,
I did set you up for
facts.
failure. I did not include a twin sister on the chart. I let you believe Andy was Andy. Chris, how did your investigation go?
About as well as Bill's, not nearly as well as
Yes.
my investigation went for the first film, where I did deduce that Chris Evans was our ultimate sort of baddie bad boy. This time around, I, like Bill, was sort of like it seemed too obvious, but it also seemed like the the one person where everybody would have motive, right? So Miles
Mhm.
was, in my mind, the likely victim. I did have him as, if not the victim, then probably the killer, because his character is just too big, right?
Mhm.
He's too connected to everybody to just be a piece of the puzzle. I mean, Ryan Johnson could do anything, so perhaps he might have done that, but I had him as either the victim or the killer. But I was really fairly certain that he was going to be the victim, and if he was the victim, um, I had Peg as the killer
Oh,
because she
Nice.
was, like,
thought about
least
that too.
assuming, a little bit more in the background present, not silent, not somebody they were trying to hide, but somebody you kinda, like, you meet early on, you just accept as a part of the world, never disappears, but never really is overly prominent. It felt like maybe the Scooby-Doo character who ends up being the
Yeah.
killer in the end. She seemed to have a different kind of reason to hate Miles because she has
Mm.
reason to hate, like, all of them, including Birdie, like, and just being wrapped up in this world. I could see her having resentment for all of the world and him being an avatar for this and all of that flows down from him. So there was a world where I thought Miles was the victim and Peg was the killer. If I had anybody else in mind as the victim, um, I thought possibly Whiskey was gonna eat it
Mm,
for a similar reason. She's, like, connected to everybody, a and, why do you include the girlfriend if she's just gonna be on this, so I was kicking that around also. Never once did I zero in on the idea that I considered whether or not Andy might be the victim, but I thought that's too obvious. Like, everybody seems to, like she's on the outs, and so I never once really considered her as the potential victim, and I certainly never considered her as the twin sister of the Andy we think we're watching right now.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
in that way, this film totally holds up to the original. I like that he was able to subvert, like, he kinda inverted things. In the original film, Knives Out, you feel like pretty early on you've got a complete picture of the
Mhm.
the murder. You know who was murdered. You're actually even pretty sure how it went down. Like, we watch Ana de Armas watch him slit his throat. Like, it's definitive that is
Mhm.
what happened. He did take the knife. He did cut his own throat. So, like, I guess we're just gonna find out how we got to that point. That's what the film ends up doing. This spends so much more time just letting us live in this world and build
Mhm.
up the tension and build the tension and build the tension, um, before getting the murder. So I loved the way it changed its structure around. It's unlike the first film in so many ways, except for Benoit Blanc at the center and the idea that, a mystery will be solved here. Um, so because it didn't ape too much of the first one. I think that's why it succeeds so well. It brings in elements of the first one, the stylishness. It looks and feels so different and yet the same.
Yes.
Right? We talked about this
Yeah.
before the pod, Randy. There isn't an outfit on display, not even from
Yeah.
Benoit himself. There isn't an outfit on display or a piece of decor, a room in the house that looks and feels anything like the New England setting of the first film.
Yeah.
And yet the stylishness of it, the intentionality of it, all felt
Yeah.
very appropriate to this
Yeah,
world.
it's so refreshing to see an original franchise like this that
Mm.
does not have to, like, exist under the weight of the previous film. Every movie can be its own thing. It can play with genre and vibes. Well, fellas, thank you so much for playing along with me in that little game. And I'm excited for Wake Up Dead Man because the next time we do this, I get to try to sleuth it out right alongside you guys because I will be seeing it for the first time as well. So
Yeah.
can't wait to see how I do at my own little game here.
Well,
Oh, I'm excited.
since you are our resident detective up to this point, leading us through the mystery, I'll go to you next here. Bud, what was your favorite mystery element of the film, or a nod to another piece of literature, pop culture, in the same vein?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just gonna like yes and Bill on the secret twin because it's not fair. Like no one's gonna go into this movie guessing that there's a secret twin. It's just not an assumption you would make. We're already doing Mystery Island trope, but it makes for this really fun narrative device, and it's one of these things that really differentiates it from the original film. And as you know, I am an English teacher. I love a metaphor. I love theme. And the way they really play up that Mona Lisa every time the smile looks a little bit different. We get to see so many things from a new perspective in that second half of the movie. And it's a really fun narrative structure, and they use it to help us understand the characters better, to see uh, that Duke's anger is not merely jealousy,
Mm,
right? He wants whiskey in that room with Miles Braun. His response is not just a simple jealousy response, it's more layered than that.
right.
And we just get those moments time and time again. So they do that really effectively. And then just a quick shout out to just I'm a game nerd. What a fun set piece that puzzle box is
Mhm.
Oh,
to
so
launch the
good.
film. So that's going to be my runner up.
Beautiful. Great call it. I will now take the time to put the feather in my cap. My wife will verify. I called the hidden picture, the stereogram box.
Oh, okay.
Well
L
done.
When they were like, "How do you open this thing?" I'm like, "Well, you gotta look at it cross-eyed is how you gotta do it." Y
Yeah.
yes, exactly right. Yeah, brilliantly stated, buddy. I agree. It's such a trope and yet so freshly applied. Really impressive filmmaking. Bill, what about you? Anything outside of the twin you wanna call out?
Oh, yeah, well, 2 things. One, using Janelle Monáe's character when we first meet her as the red herring of like, "Oh, obviously she's gonna wanna kill Ed Norton, right?" And you're
Yeah.
just like I'm like, "Alright, cool. So I know she didn't do it."
Right.
But, everyone else, and then when the reveal works even better. But I love the crime before the crime, the solution before the solution, when he just blows up the whole thing because, 1, it's just a reminder, and it plays into everything too, so great. It's a reminder of just how great Ben was, how smart he is, because remember, and then we see in the flashback, he's like, "I'll hit him with a little southern hokum
Yeah.
just to keep him off balance." But he kinda is like that too, like, he's like
Will there be a prize?
I was kinda thinking the same thing. He's like, "And I can we get an iPad or something?" He's like, "I have an iPad." And, like,
An iPad Pro this time.
yeah, I kinda was like, that's not a work. He's being very sincere at that point.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't being like a bumpkin, like, he was just like, "Well, wait, what are we getting out of this?" Because I think there's some things to this that he was still very confused by, like, "Why are we doing this?" And that's why he also kinda hated, Braum, because he's just like, "This is so dumb that you're doing
Yep.
this. Like, why is this a thing?" Um but I liked how he just did all that, and then we ended up playing then when you see in the reveal why he's there, how he did it, but then how Brom stole from him like he did everyone else
Yep.
to to get away with it, to create his crime, and that's what I really liked that, and it was just such, like, classic, like, dinner theater it literally was dinner
Literally,
theater. It was
yes.
literally dinner
Yes.
theater, and it was awesome. I
Perfect.
would love to see man, if there ever was, like, a Knives Out experience, like, Daniel
Mm,
Craig dinner theater, like,
wow.
I'd have to take out a bank loan to see that, but
Yeah,
I mean,
sign
like, come
sign
on
me
now.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. I don't have a ton to add, I don't think, in terms of, tropes at play here. I also was really taken with that twin bit.
So good.
I do I had sort of the Sixth Sense top of mind after finishing this movie. Well, I guess as the reveal happened, and then they're walking you through
Yeah.
all of the moments in the film that actually weren't exactly
Mhm.
what you thought they were.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
thinking to myself, my gosh, I bet upon a rewatch, there's like, oh, well, there's her shadow. She was right there in the background. Like she was always lurking. If you look
yeah.
closely at the tall grass behind Batista, she was always there. Like Ryan
Drunk.
Johnson yeah, Ryan Johnson didn't reshoot any of this, like, there were different angles, of course, while shooting, but
Yeah.
none of it was tricked. Like, everything did happen the first time in the first half the way it happens, as we're told when we walk through it the second time, and that's brilliant to me. I love a movie that when you go back, it is all in plain sight, as
And that's
Benoit Blanc says.
so hard because,
Mhm.
like, there's so many, like, gimmicked films where it's like you
Yes.
get the reveal and it doesn't hold
Mhm.
past the reveal. But like you said, Sixth Sense, why is it M. Night's most famous, beloved movie? Because, man, you keep going back well, besides great performance,
Yeah.
you kind of forget, and then you come back to it. Like this, like you said, I wanna rewatch this. I'm not gonna, probably because you know me. But I would love to rewatch it and see, like, how this all comes together. Again,
Mhm.
it's The Usual Suspects. It's other films like that that really hit that, or one of my favorites, which is more akin to it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, and if you haven't, that should be a Media Lit episode. It's The Sting with Paul Newman and Robert
Yes.
Redford. That is an all-timer when it comes to stuff like that, and
Yeah.
that's very akin, I think, to what
Yeah.
we're seeing here.
Yeah, like, I think if you watched it again, you would see that Ed Norton does really hand Batista the glass that first time when you're
Yeah.
watching,
Oh, for sure.
and that's probably another one I wanna call out, as well as the mystery box, like, the mystery invite to start everything, bringing them to the island for a game, that's very tropey, but the switched drink, not just the poisoned drink, but the swapped drink is a
Yeah.
classic murder mystery trope that I really enjoy, so that was fun too.
And the callback to how dumb he is
Mm.
when he's just like, "All the stupid things you said,"
Yeah.
because they're said so quick, and that's, like, kind of the Ed Norton part. It's just like, they say it so quick and with so much, confidence that you're like, "Oh, obviously that's a word."
Yeah, he's like
You know
P.T. Barnum, he's just like a
exactly.
professional huckster.
Yeah.
Or an English teacher who's talking all day and terrified to sound dumb.
There you go.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
But speaking of that, that brings me to my next late addition to our outline for tonight, and that is Miles Braun, total douchebag. The movie wants you to know that right away. Even before you've met him, you know he's the worst. And he proves it to us time and time again. So I wanted to go to everyone and ask them, what is your favorite line or moment just establishing what a fucking idiot this guy is? Kris, kick us off.
Thank you for coming to me first because I was so annoyed in this moment of realization because the film does do a good job of Miles's first uttered um in the context of like, well, I know he's like crazy, but these things just work, for
Yeah.
every crazy idea, he's got a brilliant one. And so they're building up the mystery around him. Then everybody gets the invite. Like, who is this Miles? All these different types of people are involved, and he is so mysterious. And you get the idea that you know this type in other things. It's a trope. He's probably eccentric. He's probably not all good or all bad. Like I was really excited
Yeah.
to get to know this character and to peel back the layers of that onion. And then we get to the beach and he says, "Let's imbreviate this moment." And I was like, "Oh, he's just actually like the man behind the curtain. He's actually totally full of hot air. He's the worst version of this kind of character. There isn't anything interesting about him. It is all smoke and mirrors. Um, he's not eccentric and dangerous, but also brilliant and valuable. Like he just sucks. He just sucks so much. And it wasn't just because imbreviate isn't a word. It was the fakeness
Yeah.
of that, like, I'm so elevated and I'm so awakened and I've done ayahuasca and we're gonna have a meditation circle later. And all those things are like cool and valuable, except for when they are superficial bullshit. And then they're so frustrating to have to behold. So I was so disappointed. And then yet, like so in to see where this movie was gonna go. And at that point, so ready for him to die. Disappointed ultimately that he wasn't the victim.
Yeah. Well said. Bill, what's your favorite Miles Braun is a fucking idiot moment?
it's interesting. Oh, one of my favorite Miles Brown moments is when he gets hit with the fake arrow
Yeah.
and the blood splatters, and then he's walking around with it. He's all pissed off, and he's just
Mhm.
like, "How I hired Gillian Flynn to write
Yeah.
this," and like, and it's just like, oh, and then you sort of start to be like, oh no, he's so superficial
Mhm.
because you know who he's modeled after. He's like he's an avatar for so many of the tech bros who've of fallen upwards in success, right?
Mhm.
And we don't need to name them. You let your imagination run free. Um, it's and then you just see like it reminds okay, it's a weird pull that I'm gonna do right now. Norton pulls like a character from the Italian Job. His character
Mhm.
Steve. This is the same character essentially. Because if you never saw the Italian Job, spoiler for a 25-year-old movie. It's so Steve is part of this crew with Mark Wahlberg, Donald Sutherland, Mos Def, all these guys, and they all are having this conversation. It's like, what do you want? And like Mos Def's like, I want like this collection of shoes. Jason Statham's like, I want this car. Seth Green's like, I want this computer. And they ask Norton, they're like, what do you want? And it's like, I'll have one of whatever you guys are having. He has no character. He has no self. He's just, I
Mhm.
bought stuff, and that's what
Mhm.
defines me. And this is
Yep.
the same thing here. It's the flash car.
Yep.
It's he misses the point of like of the glass onion. The glass onion was the bar. It wasn't this like mystical structure that is somehow elevated to a point of higher consciousness because he shit himself in a bathtub in Brooklyn. Like, you know what I mean? It's what it was at that point was the floor for where everything started. It's where the real friendship started,
Mm.
or maybe not, but because he ever really friends with these people? Like, Janelle Monáe was friends with all of them. They were actually friends.
Mhm.
They're like, "Let's just let this guy hang out and see what happens." And I think he was nothing. He really was. He was the collection of everyone else's success, and he's the collection of and other people's genius, and he's also just collecting stuff. Like, he's the archetype of everyone who's a dumbass in a movie who just like, "I bought this," and you're like, "Alright, that's
Yep.
really stupid and vapid," you know? And, that's where, like, when he's talking to Benoit, and I'm just like, "Oh, he's just fucking stupid." He's like but I
Yeah.
do love the reveal. The reveal shows you
Mhm.
actually how dumb he
Yeah.
really, really is. Also, that shitty what really sold it was the leather vest and the shitty, comb back
Yeah.
hair. I
Yeah.
was like, "Holy crap, are you like a close magician? Are you like
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Th
look like" oh, I
you
wouldn't
know,
trust you're gonna drop something in a drink,
you
that's
ever
what you're gonna do.
you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
When they show you Barney pre-suited up,
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah,
long hair guy,
yep.
that's what he reminded me of.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
perfect. Now, before I take Miles to task, I do wanna, like, just grab onto a thread that Bill was pulling at, which is, like, this guy's the worst, but there is, like, this one little, like, pitiable element to him.
sure.
Doesn't forgive any of his actions, but at one point he's saying, like, how much he wishes he could be back at that bar with everyone, and, like, I kind of really believe him. I kind
Yeah.
of really believe that he just wants to hang out and have a chill weekend with everyone, having fun. Like, he can only manufacture these fake ways to feel connected to other people, and there's, like, some, like, suppressed little piece of him that maybe once knew what that felt like. But,
Mm.
yeah, it's behind all this ugliness. His repetitions of the phrase, "That's so legit," that was maybe my favorite, like, "This guy's an idiot," sort
Such
of
an
line.
idiot, yeah.
Like, just such an empty, materialistic way. And, well, listen, I'm not ashamed to admit that I enjoy the Red Hot Chili Peppers when he's try when he's trying to impress everyone by saying, "Frusciante really is the heart of the Chili Peppers. Other people say it's Flea." Just, like, his delivery of that line was so dumb. That
Yeah,
was that was
so
a great moment.
practiced.
Yeah.
Like, this is his cool thing that he says about the Chili Peppers when they're playing in the background.
Yeah, it's kinda like, our guy Superman was recently taken to task for not having, like, a deep knowledge of the music scene, uh, and I feel like you've got Miles revealing that about himself here.
Yeah, great call out. I think you're both right that there's a sad guy in here somewhere, right? Like, I do believe he genuinely wants to be back at that bar, that these weekends are the only way he gets to make these people feel like they're really his friends, and it's not just all
Mhm.
this transactional thing, right? Um, yeah, that's a bummer. He does look genuinely bummed when he gets hit with a fake arrow and, like, the
Yeah.
murder mystery is ruined. It reminded me of, Chasing Amy. "Look at this morose motherfucker right here. Smells like somebody shit in his cereal." Like, that's how disappointed and sad and dejected Miles Braun looked in that moment for sure.
And he was also a name dropper, like, "Oh, this is Jared Leto's kombucha. This is, Jeremy Renner's hot sauce."
Yeah,
And
Jeremy Renner's hot sauce, that was funny.
I love that they were able to laugh at that than to use it seriously. But I still think with the bar, like, I think maybe he does, but I just think he misses the point of that
Yeah.
too.
Mm.
It's just like because I'm still not convinced they were ever really his friends,
Right.
but and I think that's the thing. It's just like he doesn't realize he's like the Glass Onion was this place of camaraderie that he was never really a part of.
Which makes it that much sadder, right? That
Yeah,
Mhm.
he is, like he's even just, like, almost, like, sucking onto it like a parasite, feeding off of it, even though it was never really
he's
his.
holding on to that boob.
Yes, he is the one suckling. Well said. Um,
And also,
yeah,
who the fuck cares about the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Like, it's just like you're gonna pull any band. It's just like any like it's always like the Beatles, right? It's people are gonna be like, well, the Beatles, and then you're like, well, I it's the Beatles, so I guess I have to agree with it. But when you're like John Frusciante, and I'm just gonna look at you and I want to throw a shoe at you.
yeah, like, why are we having a deep
Like I want to
conversation
be
about the
I
Chili
want to be a
Peppers?
Latin grandmother, and I want to take my chocolate off, and I want to slap you in the face with it because, like, come on. No,
Yes.
Randy, if you did that, you're a sincere person. But like if Ed Norton saying that to me, I'm like, hey man, you like that one album that everyone listened to that I hate, and like that's it. Stop it. And you only know the hits. Piece of shit.
So
Sorry.
so Mi Miles Braun is a douchebag,
Oh,
but
to the
he
highest.
yeah, but he's far from what all this film has to offer, so I wanna get into our favorite scene of the film. We're gonna go to you first, Randy. I'm really curious. You've now seen this movie a handful of times. You said this recent rewatch was your favorite. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite scene? Was it different this time?
So this one's tough. Like there because there's so many great scenes. Like there are multiple like set piece kind of scenes, and I feel like I have to go with one of those. But I'm just gonna follow my heart with the scene that I was like the most emotionally affected by this time around. And it's just the little like first conversation between Benoit Blanc and Helen out on his little balcony. He's finally out of the tub. Uh, he's got his robe on. We hear Janelle Monáe doing her little Southern accent, her innocent third grade teacher who doesn't quite understand this world that her sister got herself sucked into. But we see that fire and spirit is so alive in her. This is the woman who sees this stupid puzzle box and she's like, I'm just going to slam through this fucking thing with a hammer.
Mhm.
Like, fuck this guy. I'm not playing his game. We get that nice little foreshadowing of what's going to come later. Um, and, I can't speak to how strong the Southern accent was or wasn't, but I felt the humanity of those characters. I felt Benoit lightly walking her toward this place of taking action on her own, something that maybe she can't see that she would be capable of doing, and he's helping her see that possibility. And she's also like rehumanizing him. This guy was just in a tub playing Among Us. Uh, you know, Totally disconnected from the world, and you see him, like, take on the sense of ownership and responsibility, and, if you wanna go back and listen to our Knives Out episode, the character of Marta means a lot to me,
Yeah.
and, like, emotionally, that's, like, a moment where she's kind of alive in the movie for me because he
Mhm.
sees this other character, who has all this potential inside of her that he wants to support. And something about their relationship felt extra real to me, particularly in that scene. Like they have some other fun moments of formulating the plan and joking about Clue, but that first meeting right on the balcony, can you help me? I really dug that.
Beautiful. Yeah, great pick. I love the reference to Marta there. There's certainly a kinship between those 2 characters, or there's something, similar to the way Benoit Blanc relates to them, at least. Bill, what about you?
It's the scene where he just rips into Benoit rips into Norton's
Mhm.
character. It's just like, "Here's how stupid you are." And what I love about it is because Benoit, like, we've seen him come unraveled, like, the whole donut thing, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, just makes me hungry every time. Just don't talk about food because that's where my brain goes. But we've seen him come and unravel. We've seen him with the bloodshot eyes. We've seen him all of this. We've never seen him just like offended because he's just
Yeah.
like, it's just like, I hate Clue. I hate these board games and I hate you for just being dumb. And I've just been like calling you out for I've just noticed how stupid you are and how just like hollowly extravagant you are. And like,
Mhm.
how can you not see these things? How dense are you? And like, and then he's like, "And oh my god, you took what I said and you made that part of your murder?" Ugh. And I
Mhm.
just love how
And why are you
disgusting.
overseeing the federal budget? I don't
Yeah,
understand it.
I know, stop dodging the question, sir. And it's just like, but I mean, and all of this is, of course, is because he's like, "I need to stall." So that's his kind
Mhm.
of his brilliance,
Yeah.
but he's also like, "You know what? I'm going to I gotta get this off my chest
Yeah.
because fuck you, man. This is the worst." Um, but we all fell for his trickery.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We fell for it. Look at the dress. We fell
Mhm.
for his words. And so then we as the audience are like, "Yeah, you're right, because we shouldn't have fallen for that either, dick." Like,
Mhm.
and so that's what I love just how flustered he got because he was genuinely heated about that.
Oh, yeah.
But he was also like, "Well, I need to stall." And what better way to stall than just cutting this promo of just like how and all these people are so into the drama. That's
Mhm.
what that's what Helen did, and that's how she got to stall, and it works really well. So that's my favorite part. I could watch that. I would love to watch that scene again. Just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Two things because I think, it reminds me of the first film, watching Benoit Blanc have this great disdain
Yeah.
for these moneyed people and their absurdities. But this is the first time, I mean, he kinda lays into the group in the first film as he's laying things out, and he makes it pretty clear to them he doesn't think very highly of how they've
Yeah.
treated Marta. But it isn't the unleashed tear down that you see here where his emotions are on full display. And to your point, perhaps he's hamming it up for as a distraction, but for me, some of that is the COVID of it all. I think all of us came out of
Yes,
this with,
that's
like, a
right.
Yeah.
little bit less time for the bullshit. Like, we've all been
Yeah.
through some stuff. Stuff has gotten very real in the world, and I don't have
Mhm.
time for your bullshit. I'm gonna call it for what it is, and I'm gonna move on. No room for you in my life. So there's
Yeah.
something, like, about the way the pandemic was affecting Benoit's character, I think, in that as well.
It's so dumb that it's brilliant.
He's like, "No, it's just dumb."
Which dumb. Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't think of the COVID of it because yeah, there's like
Mm.
how many moments, gosh, I can think on socially distance where something would happen and like there was you can edit this out if you want. Um, the whole thing that happened, remember when Trump got COVID and
oh,
then he was like, "I'm back," and he like takes the mask off and he's like basically like, "Look at me." And it was yeah, he's like, "Hey," he's doing the like Sasha Boy the K-pop Demon Hunter dance. It's so
yeah,
crazy. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's so
great flick.
oh, uh, we had a socially distanced episode where it was myself, it was our music editor, Kat, her boyfriend, Cole, who works for Warner Brothers now, and Al Manarino. And Kat, Cole, and I lost our minds. We were just yelling because that's what COVID did to you.
Yeah.
Like, you could only have so much patience.
I got no
You could
patience for this. Yep.
you could only drink so much. Trust me, I tested that theory very well. But at that moment, we just all broke.
Mhm.
And that's yeah, it's what COVID did. And that's why it's also kind of why, Chris, to your point, pivoting off that, why the glass breaking scene,
Mhm.
where everyone gets involved for this catharsis where they can finally, they're just like, we have had enough. I
Yes.
mean, they're still pieces of shit. They're still shitheads. Let's
Yeah.
face it.
But Bill, you brought us back beautifully because that is my favorite scene of the film. I was torn between that
Mhm.
and the mystery box. The mystery box at the beginning is a ton of fun, especially what a great uh, device he chose with the speakerphone and everybody on the group call. And they're figuring out that mystery together. It's got great energy. As an audience, you feel involved. You maybe are playing along a little bit where they're giving enough details to try to
Yep.
do so. Fibonacci, I recognize that. I've seen that
Shut
before.
up, mom.
But
Yeah, shout out Ma Cody for killing it on the mystery box.
shout out, Only
Garden
Murders
State.
in the Building. She's
Mhm.
Yes.
phenomenal on Only Murders.
Oh, her room is so sad at
Sh
times too.
she's such a good hint, though, that all this is so much stupider than we feel like it is. Like, it has all
Yeah.
this panache, and it has all this style and flair, and you're kinda taken by the box of it all, and the mom is just sitting in the back, like, yelling out the answers without even looking at the puzzle.
It's a compass.
Yeah, it shows how absolutely simple and rudimentary it really all was, aside from, like, Benoit, who didn't actually solve it, by the way. I love that he, like, takes a dig at Miles
Yeah.
for the childish nature of the puzzles in the box.
Yeah. It's like one of those mini
Yeah,
crosswords
he
or
didn't even actually solve it. He was just being a dick in that
a
moment, which I love.
bite-sized appetizer.
But
Oh, don't get me started on
my
food.
my real actual favorite scene is that glass
Yeah.
smashing in the end because you feel all the emotions pouring out of Helen. She has so little control. And at first it does seem like Miles is trying to make her feel childish, like she's a baby
Mhm.
throwing a tantrum. And at first it does feel a little bit like that. And then like you can see how like, nope, nope, I'm committing to this. This feels good. This is and I think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And you watch how enticing it is on the other characters, the people who have
Mhm.
not been willing to let go, have been too afraid to actually break things, no matter how much they're called the disruptors. And as each one of them falls in line and starts to smash, when Catherine Hahn gets involved, right, they're the last two, like the most. They seem like they have the most to lose. They're the least willing to jeopardize their standing with Miles. Um, and so yeah, when they get involved and everybody starts smashing together. The energy in the film was so big at that point, and you can see Miles trying to play it cool. He's trying to act like this is not going to amount to anything, but you can see as all of his friends, quote unquote, get involved, how he begins to get more and more nervous. It's starting to really unravel. He's gonna lose control here. He never expects to have somebody get the better of him, despite being so dumb, and he is. He's slippery, and he has been able to manipulate people, to leverage
Yeah.
his wealth and his influence, but he also is genuinely slippery. Like
Mhm.
it's within moments that Miles finds out that Andy is actually dead and that's confirmed and Duke knows. It's within moments that he like pineapple juice, switch my drink, kill him real
Mhm.
quick, pretend that someone was trying to kill me, that's why I'll switch the glass. It was all formulated pretty
Yeah.
quickly there
Yeah.
on the fly for as dumb as he is. So, like, even in the moment where Helen holding the napkin way too close to him, the whole time she's holding the napkin, I'm like, "Put why are you don't let him touch it. Don't
Yep.
why are we what are we?" And sure enough, he burns it. Again, he was quick, he was clever, he was slippery, so he is wicked dumb.
But not
But
until someone's like, "You didn't burn it?"
Well, he's
at
is
at
he
no
dumb?
point at
I'm
no
just
point
trying to
does he
think.
really
Is he
think
dumb?
he's I mean, I think he is.
He's
He's
just quick on his feet, like, so that's
Sure.
what I'm
yes.
saying, but it's like so it's just like he has no I guess maybe he has good survival skills.
Mm.
Then that's, basically how he's made it, I guess.
Probably, but you can see finally in these moments where all of his friends are
Mhm.
breaking the glass for the first time in his eyes, he doesn't have a plan. He isn't in control of this. He doesn't see the angle. He doesn't see the play, and sure enough, it doesn't go his way. It's a great scene.
Beautiful.
But also, the friends stop at one point too, because all of us they're like, "Oh, this is fun," and then she starts building the fire, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, that's enough. That's enough." Then it's like, "Don't get the Mona Lisa."
Yeah, that's Liberace's piano.
Yeah, because it goes back to what he said,
Yep.
that dumbass promo, when he's like, "Oh, they'll only go to a certain point,"
Yep.
because none of them are they're all cowards.
Yeah, and they what does she say? You'll lie for lie, but you won't lie for the truth. He's right to think they only go so far, but at that point, Helen is such an X factor. She's such a wild card. Um, yeah, great scene.
All right. So we talked about some of our favorite scenes, and we kind of just built in an opportunity to smuggle and talk about some of the other great performances and moments. But I'm looking to hear everyone's favorite quotes from the film. Um, let's see, Bill Bodkin. I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
I picked this line because it's something my dad would have said when Helen's like, "I told them who they were,
Mhm.
shitheads." And I'm like, "Man, that's some my dad used to call people shitheads all the time," and I just kind of was like, that's such a it's so true, and it's such like and they keep bringing it up, and I think Benoit calls them shitheads at one point too,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
always great. You know, he's so refined and he's so, proper, and then he's like, "We all shitheads," and it's just like, blessed saint.
Yeah,
But
vainglorious buffoon is
Yeah.
tremendous, but shitheads is so much more to the point.
yeah. Yeah, and that's why I love it because he does have that way with words. So when he just rolls up the sleeves and plays in the mud, I like that, but I love the plainness of this is who Helen is, and she's right. She's right, and it's also kind of a commentary on her sister too, because
Mhm.
it's like,
Mhm.
my sister was a shithead too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so also, I wanted to say there was a trope about that I didn't bring up. I have to bring up real quick. It was the book stop in the
Oh,
bullet.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Chef's kiss.
Yep.
Chris,
Also, should we play Whiplash is another great.
oh, yeah, of course. Chris, I'm gonna go to you. What's your favorite quote from Glass Onion?
This was the one quote that made me like, "Whoa," when it was said in the film, and it's not
Mhm.
even it's Birdie and Benoit.
Yeah.
Like Miles said, "I'm a truth teller. Some people
Yeah.
can't handle it." Benoit Blanc says, "It's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth, don't you think?" I love that he doesn't just say it and leave it out there. He, like, is willing to challenge her with it.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to reflect on what you just said and what I just said. She turns it into a nice little flirtatious moment. She's pretty good on her feet. "You calling me
Mhm.
dangerous?" We'll see. It's a wonderful exchange. It's helping to set the table for that character and for Benoit as well. But man, it's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth. And in today's climate, when we have lost so much of any sense of like civility, decorum in discourse, when just the most ignorant off the cuff statement is celebrated as strength, as some sort of truth telling. This is such an important concept to wrestle with.
Mhm.
Saying things without thought, s- turning off the filter between brain and
Yep.
mouth is not the same thing as speaking truth. It's far from it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's how you end up with things like men's rights activist Duke Cody. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Chris, I'm right on in line
Yeah.
with you. That was my top of my list as well. That exact same quote for the exact same reasons. You articulated it beautifully. But that gives
Yeah.
me an opportunity to go to some of my backups. So let's stick with Birdie J because, as I've said several times today, I've watched this film 3 or 4 times now. Um, and I think Birdie J is the character that I keep finding the most new layers in with each watch.
Yeah, I can
Um,
see that.
because, I mean, the performance is huge, it's meant to be huge, and it's easy to just see that the first time through. We already talked about literally, like, she's the distracting, dress that's twirling around during the murder sequence, um, but she's going through a lot of things in this film. We find out that, Miles has asked her to take full responsibility for a sweatshop incident for her company. We find out that she is struggling with feeling like an aging starlet. I feel gross even saying that. Like, I mean, it's Kate Hudson.
That's a trope.
She's
It's a
she's perfect,
Yeah.
but she's feeling her age. She sees whiskey, um, who's a little bit younger, and you can see her consciously bothered by that. Like she refrains from going in the pool at one point because she feels self-conscious. No matter how much she kind of like peacocks her way out there in the bathing suit and all the frills and the hat and everything.
That
But
is self-consciousness, right? All that
yeah,
peacocking, right? Yeah.
but she has this incredible moment where she's reflecting on who Miles used to be when she was the famous one. They first met, and she says, "He was this little thing in my hand. I preferred that." She hates being at such a disadvantage. She
Mm.
doesn't have a lot of like the traditional intelligence of other people. Um, you honestly believe her that she approved a sweatshop entirely out of ignorance?
Because she thought it was where they make sweatpants.
You
Yeah.
know, and Peg is horrified along with all of us at this moment.
Mhm.
Now, she's about to make $30 million off of this, so I'm not trying to call her a saint or anything like that. But when she tells Peg she's going to do it, it's also partly a recognition that, like, she really did fuck up. Like, I really did do this thing. Um, if only we could all get paid $30 million for our biggest mistakes. Um, so not a good person, but like there's something happening there. There's something at work there. There's someone going through something there that's a real rich character, and that line's great. I've been on a real run of bringing up Gatsby every single podcast lately. I feel like I've
Yeah.
brought up Gatsby for the last 5 podcasts, but I mean, that's Jordan Baker in a nutshell. She likes Nick Carraway because he's so gentle and polite, and she hates ever being at a disadvantage. She likes to date unintelligent men. She wants to hold on to what control she can, and she's in a world that's not going to have her back all the time. So, yeah, love that about Birdie Jane. It's a great line.
Fantastic. Great, great, great pick. Okay, so let's favorite quote of the film. We've done scene, we've done quote. It's time for our singular shot. This is where we're gonna talk about just the frame and image. That's something you wanna take a still from here. So, Randy, let's throw it right back to you. What's an individual shot from the film that you would like to celebrate?
I mean, cinematography here is incredible. There's no
Yeah.
shortage of great shots, but if I've got to pick one, I'm just going to take the low hanging fruit. It's Benoit Blanc in the tub wearing
That
his
was
fez.
yes.
Uh, just like the stack of books at the side of the tub, the various expensive bottles of alcohol carefully placed around him, but the piece de resistance is just a bright yellow rubber ducky,
Yeah.
always visible in the foreground. It's this like, even like his little laptop stand, like he's playing Among Us, but it's this like very like formal looking like dark wood sort of stand. He's somehow looking prim and proper, even in this depressed state in the bathtub. But the framing of that shot, like it's poster worthy stuff. It's such an incredible collection of just data and a vibe. We see his like somehow we're seeing him have a total breakdown and also seeing how cool he is at the same time. And,
Yeah.
that's hard to pull off. So that's my shot.
I can
Beautiful.
attest to that.
Beautiful. That was gonna be my pick. I am
Yeah.
so glad you went there. I didn't think it was, like, impactful enough on the like, there's so many beautiful images in this movie. I thought it was such a safe pick, but one that I was really excited to celebrate. You captured it and illustrated it so much more beautifully than I could have. I'm so glad you picked it. Yeah, so much to celebrate. Every little choice of every nook and cranny of that room. Bill, what is your favorite individual shot in the
It's
movie?
just really silly. But it's like when Helen and Benoit they've had their dinner, they're walking, and he's got like the white striped shirt on, obviously very, very Mediterranean. She's dressed like her sister. And they end up standing in front of like, having a very serious conversation in front of this very shitty looking like, stucco ice cream cone that's just next to, like, an ice cream stand, what they are. It looks like it's something out of, like, a it's, like, this thing that looks so scungy and just it's been weathered and it's been on a boardwalk for, like, 50 years. It's everything about this film is so pristine, but to me, it just popped me because I have seen that. I used to work write about boardwalks all the time, and I
Mhm.
see that at so many places where it's just these rundown honky tonk places, and it's that ice cream cone, and here are these 2, like, immaculate looking people standing in front of that, ordering ice cream to talk about, "Hey, here's your dead sister, and here's how we're gonna solve her murder. Let's have an ice cream." And this silly little, statue of ice cream right next to it, for some reason, it just popped me so hard. There's so many like you said, Randy, this is an exquisite looking film,
Yeah.
but there's something about the ridiculousness of it, but also, like, kinda symbolizing it, like, they are still creatures of comfort, and
Yeah.
this is how they're able to have this very personal scene, like, they're
Mm,
sharing a meal together, and it's ice cream. 'Cause it's like, "Fuck, we gotta talk about your sister. We gotta go over this plan.
Mhm.
Let's have some ice cream," because
Uh,
that's what I would do.
Bill, you've got something dawning on me in real time. I'm looking up at my little shelf of memorabilia that's on the other side of my computer that you can't see. I'm looking at my TARDIS, and this is such a doctor companion relationship.
Yeah.
Like, like lifting her up, pushing her towards her best self, right along with like the admission of like, I can't promise that I can keep you safe.
Yeah.
Um, I've got to be upfront with that. I'm going to do everything I can to protect you, but I can't promise it. So maybe that's something in the sauce that I love here as well.
Daniel
Love
Craig
that.
is the next Doctor. I mean, I'm not gonna hate it, but,
So good. So, so good. Um, I think so for me, I'm glad you guys a couple of great picks. Randy, I'm glad you took my number 1 off the table because now I can kinda bop around a little bit. There's a moment where all of the cinematography on the dock when everybody's
mm,
arriving and they're connecting with each other and Benoit Blanc is observing them all, the cinematography in that is all so, so beautiful, but there's an establishing shot of just him at the end of the dock. He's solo. It's a wide
Mm,
shot, and he's just Daniel Craig
yep.
looking incredible in his very location and season appropriate
Yes.
layered sartorial, charm. Like, I can't believe
oh,
how many
what a
layers he's
word.
wearing,
Let me
but
just say Chris Ingersoll, I need to stop you for a second. Sartorial, I you're the fucking man. You
of
really are.
course
You are
look,
the man.
I spent 7 years working for Burberry, in a luxury clothing environment. Um,
Dude, I wear cargo shorts most of the
got a
year. I
got
mean,
a
I
couple
can't
of I'm no fashion guy, but I had to pretend to
I
be
don't
for
know about
7
that.
years, so,
I don't know about that. I don't know.
but he looks incredible, right? He's, like, got layers,
Mhm.
it reminds you of James Bond coming out of the water in that first Bond flick, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if the shot was intentional to homage that moment of, like, here's our guy." But not my favorite shot of the film. Within that, uh, is the first moment that I started to notice Peg
Mhm.
as, like, "Mm, you don't like, you're in this, but you're not included in this. Like, you're in the background." So everybody's meeting each other. They're, like, chitting and chatting up in the foreground, and she's just in the background doing lunges for some reason. She's, like, vaguely stretching, Peg
Yep.
is. She's out of focus, and she's, like, dressed super casual compared to everybody else's style. She's in,
Yeah.
like, a very practical travel, like, tank and a sweatshirt tied around her waist, and she's just, like, weirdly lunging and stretching for no reason. And then later in the film, as everybody else has their beautifully monogrammed, like, laser etched glasses with their names on them, you see Peg, like, lounging in the background, writing Peg and Sharpie on her Solo cup,
Yeah.
like, just to be a
Yep.
part of it. Those 2 moments for me are such brilliant little choices. I'm shocked that her character didn't end up being a bigger part of the mystery because of those moments,
Uh,
because of moments like Miles Braun, speaking of him being a douchebag and letting us know that so early, doesn't know her name. She approaches him on the steps to quickly try to talk about Birdie and the
Yep.
statement, and he doesn't remember her name. I was certain that she, like I said, was a bigger part of this mystery, but these establishing shots of her were a big,
Yeah.
big part of it.
Not to mention the fact that, like, Jessica Henwick is just awesome.
Yeah,
yeah.
She's so good. She's my Iron Fist, uh, as far as I'm concerned. So, like, yeah,
She's
like,
the
you're
only Iron Fist. There was never anyone else.
yeah,
yeah,
like,
right.
you're waiting for her to, like, have a bigger moment than she gets in this film. But, that just speaks to, like, Ryan Johnson's talent and the
Yeah,
fact that people wanna work with him so badly.
right, the quality of every performance in this, the quality of the writing, all of it, yeah, so but yeah, her just doing lunges in the background absolutely killed me.
So, Chris, I think the spoof on Bond was like I think they spoofed that moment because remember he comes out in the bathing costume
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he's kind of awkwardly wading through the
Yeah,
water.
it's kinda
It's
like a grandma walk through
like,
the
actually
water.
in the
Yeah.
pool,
and
yeah,
I'm
but
just
yeah.
sitting there, I'm like, this guy, when he came out of that, like there was so many women just died and dudes too.
I
Human
died, I
human beings
Yeah.
just
yeah,
died, became like souls left bodies.
Yeah.
Right, and now he's like waiting around in like a turn of the century bathing costume, like,
yeah.
"Oh, don't wanna get in the deep end and get my hair wet, you know, I put my smellums in today, this fop will only last for so long."
Like George Clooney and Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
I mean, I'm a dapper Dan man, god damn
No,
it.
the pomade has a pleasing smell, it's half the appeal.
Well, ain't this place a goddamn geographical anomaly? 2 weeks for everything.
I'm already making
I
notes for that episode, by the
Oh, I
way.
was gonna
That's
say,
gonna be a blasty
you
blast, yeah.
oh, yeah.
Part of the lead into the Odyssey. just a little live podcast planning, letting you all peek behind the curtain.
Oh, you have I might sing on that podcast, so let's get cracking.
I mean, we're gonna talk about a trailer later that has some Oh Brother vibes, but let's get there when we get there. All right, we could be here all night. I love to talk. Kris loves to talk. Bill loves to talk. We clearly love this movie and the performances, but we've covered it pretty well. But before we move on to our extra credit section, are there any other performances or filmmaking elements people want to shout out before we move on?
Got one thing I really want to share.
Yeah.
So we get into the glass onion house. We're in like all of his absurd things, and he's got his portrait on the wall. It's not featured quite as prominently as the
Yes.
Mona Lisa is, but
Oh
I saw
god.
that and I'm like, oh, it's Fight Club.
It
Mm-hmm.
is.
My first thought was it's Fight Club. And then I
Mm-hmm.
do think ultimately it had thematic resonance where you have the false persona of is it Andy and then it's Helen. Miles himself, I actually don't think is as two-faced. Like he's not the one that that painting is referring to. I really think that having
Yep.
the Fight Club portrait there is like a reference to Ed Norton was in Fight Club, but also I do think it
Sure.
has thematic resonance for Andy's character and something of a hint for us to be questioning whether or not everybody was exactly who they appeared to be.
Yeah.
Very few people, in fact, I don't think anybody else is being really openly deceptive
Yeah.
in this, except for her. So I'd mentioned off the pod, Randy, that I did some Googling. And not only is it like, yeah, of course it was intentionally a Fight Club reference, but that is
Yeah.
actually just Ed Norton's face painted on Brad Pitt's body from Fight Club.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Like, it's very specifically that. So I was thrilled to discover that. Again, just flowers upon flowers to Ryan Johnson.
I have noticed that everybody remembers Brad Pitt's body in Fight Club.
It's pretty
I
iconic.
mean
Hard
I
to
mean,
forget. Hard to forget.
I once knew a guy, I didn't know this guy in college, who worked out in the same campus gym. He had a full, sorry if you're listening, dude, this is no judgment. It's a full color tattoo of Tyler Durden on his calf, but it's like not like in a fight, it's like just Brad Pitt holding the soap, except there's no soap. It's just like the baby blue collar and Brad Pitt's face as Tyler Durden on this guy's calf in full color. I never understood it.
I thought we were about to get like an ab counting situation, like a la Lego Batman. Like I've got a
Oh,
ninth ab or
I
whatever.
wish it was that.
I got 9 abs. It's just under a lot of layers. It's just keeping it warm
So
That's
say
temperature.
we all. So say we all. Um I want to piggyback off of what you just had to say, Chris Ingersoll. Now, if you go back to our Equilibrium podcast, you'll hear me taking a shot at that movie for referencing the Mona Lisa as just like the go to famous work of art that you're going to go to no matter what. But they do really make it work here. They have that extended monologue with like the close up on the Mona Lisa, talking about a riff on that lore we've all heard before about this painting and how the perspective looks different from all these different angles, yada yada yada. But that's so thematically what this film is. I shouted out that moment earlier with Duke where you assume he's experiencing some classic jealousy. Um when we when we find out that in fact it's not jealousy, but it is, as Benoit Blanc describes it, a consensual cuckolding for cable news assignments. That was in my running for favorite line.
It's a very good line.
Um, Whiskey herself, we find out she has aspirations to get into politics. Um, she sees some value in the exposure she's getting through Duke, but realizing she might have to distance herself from it soon. There's more complexity to that character and so on and so forth. Obviously, Helen, Andy is the most obvious version of that. Um, but leaning into that metaphor and the glass onion metaphor itself, the answer being right there, only appearing to be behind all these layers. Really strong thematic work in this one because it's not really the mystery, right? We've already talked about how the mystery here is kind of a cheat. You were never going to guess this mystery correct unless you assumed there was a secret twin that I did not put on that dossier, right? I set you up for failure. So the strength of this film is thematic. And they really sell it from you, that whole Mona Lisa thing. And shout out to Podling Stevie, who we once podcasted about Bluey with, who famously hates the Mona Lisa. Uh,
Right.
so
Really
I think
small.
she really enjoyed this moment in Glass Onion.
Burning it down. Great
Uh,
call out.
yeah.
It is so thematically important throughout. Like to your point, such a better use of the Mona Lisa than you might otherwise see in a movie that includes it just because it's the iconic piece of art. Even right down to the idea that like its high security is fairly well known and iconic, and
hmm
tying that into such an important bit of the plot. Um, Having us pan back to it every time the phone dings throughout the movie. It was really worthwhile to include her in this and not just the painting type of pick. So great call out.
And it's
Awesome.
also shows him how, like, vapid he is because it's
Yeah.
just like, "It's I saw the Mona Lisa and it changed my life." Oh, no shit, it's the most famous painting ever, dude. It's not like something like it was, like, personal, like, it felt like anyone could have that
Yes.
inspiration, and I don't even maybe I don't even know if that was real. Maybe he did see it when he was 6, but he had no ties to it, he just wanted to brag. It's like and that so that's even better for me.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's
And then
like
it ultimately being his, downfall too.
yeah, it's almost like he saw the entourage and the status and the security that surrounded it, and maybe that's what he loves all
That's
along.
actually what inspired him, right? Um,
Bill,
Bill,
any lingering shout outs for you?
2 performances.
Yeah.
I gotta shout out 2 people who are like, well, now more regular. Janelle Monáe is excellent in this. I mean, she'd really only done, she had been in Moonlight, Antebellum, and Hidden Figures, and, supporting role, but she has a huge amount to do in this. She's playing dual roles. And I think she is phenomenal in this. I've always liked her as a musician, and I hope she does more because I think she is a could be a tremendous leading lady, a tremendous, like, ensemble player, and I will keep banging the drum for Dave Bautista. If you've never seen
Yeah.
the opening of Blade Runner 2049, he's fantastic in it. Drax, even though it's a comic book movie, he imbues it with so much humanity and heart, and I just it sucks that he's kinda in the, like, pro wrestler, like, let me do a whole bunch of action movies type stuff because he's big and muscly. But I hope he gets more opportunities to do films like this because I think he did a great job of
Yeah.
embodying a character that he very much is not like in real life.
Yes.
Although people would probably assume that he is like men's rights Trump guy when he is very much the opposite in real life.
oh
He's a great
Yeah.
Twitter follower, a great social
yeah,
media follower.
his
And
take
like
his takedown of was phenomenal.
he's like, you look like a bag of milk. And I was just like, oh man, that's
Yeah, Bill,
super accurate.
it's been a minute since I watched Blade Runner 2049, but doesn't he put on the slutty little glasses?
Oh, he is the king of slutty little glasses. Mostly, I don't also know if it's just normal glasses on a massive face. That also could happen. Just saying. But hey, listen, Dave Bautista, all flavors for all people.
To
But
quote Sean Spencer, I've heard it both ways.
yeah, I honestly think he's fantastic, and I want to see more roles for him. Love to see both of them in a Wes Anderson movie. I would pop
Whoa.
so
Yeah.
hard for that.
Yeah.
That's I think he has that in him. Did you
Oh,
guys know
yeah.
that he did a voice for the English version of, The Boy and the Heron?
No.
Yes, I
It's a
did.
great credit for him to have on his growing resume. I hope
Oh,
that he
yeah.
continues to get opportunities like that too.
Also used to be a hell of a breakdancer.
Hmm.
Well,
I just want a quick yes and on Janelle Monet. Like this part is such a great vehicle for her, especially that
Yeah.
whole disruption at the end. Because I mean, the real life Janelle Monet is a disruptor. Like she likes to push boundaries. Like she does creative things musically, and just like her persona, she identifies as non-binary. But even the way she talks about that is so interesting. I found this great quote where she said her pronouns are free ass motherfucker, they, them, and she, her are her pronouns. She'll use any of those. But yeah, I see myself as a free ass motherfucker is a pretty badass thing to say.
it's pretty dope.
And you pair that with the image of Helen breaking all that glass and setting that fire. And yeah,
Oh
the,
yeah.
the vision comes together.
All right, folks. Well, that just about brings us to the end of this classroom session. Thank you, Teacher Randy, for establishing such a wonderful syllabus for us as always. But we can't go home before we've done our extra credit. This year in Media Lit, Randy and I have established a handful of extra credit awards, superlatives even that we wanna give away, property by property, and we've got a couple this week that we're excited to give out. So we're going to start this week with the Calypso Spirit Guide Award. This, of course, named for the best teacher ever depicted in fictional media or otherwise, Calypso. This goes to the character who channeled their inner shaman to gracefully nudge another character in a positive direction. So, Bill, you know Calypso very, very well. You're a
I
Bluey
do.
guy. You understand the
I
heart of this award. Tell me, which character are you giving the Calypso Spirit Guide Award to?
It's a little on the nosy, but I have to go with Benoit because, just he gets Helen to
Mhm,
multiple times. He gets Helen to get justice for this her sister because in ways he can't, and in ways that even if he did solve this, would she truly feel closure? Because now not only has she, has she proven like she can't prove that he killed her sister, or maybe, testimony will say otherwise. But what I got from it was she was able to bring the system down. She was the true disruptor of them all.
mhm.
And she found a way to do it by taking the shitheads down. And that's what I loved about it. And he did it in his own way without it ever feeling like win one for the Gipper types.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He was able to figure it out in a way that made sense. And I think he ultimately didn't want to do it, but at the end, he knew what he had to do in order for her to have closure. And I think that meant a lot for him as much as it did for her.
I love that. Yeah, I think he's a giver of wisdom rather than a giver of advice. Um, Randy, what about you? Anybody else you wanna give the Calypso Spirit Guide Award to?
Yeah, definitely. I've got a short list here. Like I could go a couple more characters deep if I needed to. I do think there are two really good answers. And then I think some other answers that require a little bit more qualifying and explanation and pushing. So I'm gonna say a little bit about this character, so that Kris, if you were interested in yes anding myself or Bill, you'd have some room to jump in if you needed. But I'm gonna give it to Helen herself. Um, she comes in with this earnestness and this sense of purpose. They do try to make her look innocent. They set her up as this third grade teacher, but not in a condescending sort of way. They don't try to make that look like a negative, but she's very satisfied with this simple life. She loves her sister very much. Even though it was distressing to her to see her sister really live the quote unquote rich bitch character that they used to joke about together as kids. But she still has a sense of pride in her sister. She's accomplished all these things. And not only is she finding herself, but again, those shit heads, she's got so much less going for her, materialistically than these other shitheads. And she channels this bravery, not only sucks them into breaking the glass, but she's the one that plants the idea in their heads that like we could band together. We could take down Miles Braun. We could make a decision that we live with. Like they've been so crippled along the way. Like Lionel and Claire can't believe that they've signed on to Miles' plan. Like they know this is a horrible thing that they've done. They're desperate for an out, but they still weren't brave enough to do it. So when you get that little sequence of everyone raising their hands, oh yeah, I saw Miles burn the napkin. I saw Miles do this. I saw
Yeah.
Miles do that. That has almost nothing to do with Benoit Blanc. That's all Helen's example. So I'm gonna give it to Helen. And I don't even think I covered everything that she did to nudge people forward.
I think that is well reasoned and tough to argue with, right? Her impact on these characters is it's very clear. It's the text of the film in the end, right? They go from one place to another place by the end of the movie, largely through their experience with Helen. The only place I'm going to take some umbrage and going to say I'm not certain that she qualifies for this award is that I don't know that there's anything gentle about her approach. I think that she bombastically inspires them to follow her lead, which is a little bit different than the style that Calypso brings. So while I agree
Yeah.
with you, you kind of you because of that, I'm not sold on
Yeah.
Helen Andy, but it does you helped sway me away from Benoit just a little bit in the idea that, yeah, he might hand her the fuel in the end. He might plant a seed and then walk away, but she's very much an agent of her own action. She seeks out Benoit Blanc, right? She receives this box. She needs to do something about her sister's murder, and she goes to Benoit. It's then sort of his plan moving forward. So
Yeah.
I am going to give it to Benoit Blanc only
Yeah.
because we have the benefit of having seen him now in 2 films, and I think that there's something similar he does with Marta in the first. As I said, he's a giver of wisdom, but not a giver of advice necessarily. In the end with Marta, when it's time to move forward, he doesn't tell her what to do with her money. He doesn't tell her if she should or shouldn't help out these rich folks. She knows what he thinks about them. She knows what he thinks about her, and he just walks away. And I think in the same way, Benoit Blanc has gone through all this. He's helped as directly as he can, but at the end of the day, he has a certain part to play, which is just exposing truth. And then everybody has to make their own choices. And so I think there's something a little bit more in the Calypso mold about his
Yeah.
approach to how he supports people, especially this type of character that he seems to have such an affection for in Marta and then in Helen. So I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it to
Beautiful.
Benoit Blanc in this case.
Yeah, I think those were really important critiques. Um, so I would just like to amend my answer to, you know, I agree with everything you're saying. I also think she did some more subtle groundwork before the glass breaking moment, right? The two main things that come to mind is when she has that little sidebar with Claire and a couple of the other disruptors, and they're like, "You didn't answer the door. You didn't pick up the phone. Like, what the hell?" Um, and she kind of comes back with, "Well, what were you going to say if I opened that door? Were you going to say that you would support me, or were you just going to be looking for a way out?" And you see at
Fair.
least Claire kind of reckoning with that. And even just like her moment of taking whiskey seriously when no one else has
Yeah.
ever, it seems.
Yeah.
So some subtle groundwork. But yeah, I think you're right. You've got to remember that soft touch when you're awarding this award. So thank you, Chris.
Well, that was a great conversation. I'm glad it
Yeah,
wasn't as
yeah,
straightforward as any of us imagined. Very, very good.
absolutely. Well, now we're on to the main event. This is the original extra credit assignment for Media Lit. If you could own one prop from this film, what would it be and why? We always let our guests have the first shot at this one. So, Bill Bodkin, what's your prop or souvenir that you are taking home from Glass Onion?
Benoit Blanc's red shirt, because that thing looks awesome.
Love that.
I'm a fall guy. I'm an autumnal man, so I want that.
Autumnal.
I'm an autumnal man. I want everything good in my life has always happened in the fall.
Great word.
I'm gonna rock that shirt.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with the Benoit Blanc wardrobe. Beautiful pick. I think you took some Benoit Blanc wardrobe last time as well. So,
Yeah,
your
he's a
closet's really coming together.
yeah, I'm just like I'm a flannel shirt and jeans guy, but every once in a while you like to get a little snappy, and he has a sense of style and panache, man. It's
Hmm.
like very simple and classic.
Beautiful. Chris, what's your prop?
This is extremely challenging in this case. There's so many cool individual
Yeah.
items in this film. There's a cool car in this film. We'd like to do that for our props. Bill, you relieved me a little bit because I think part of me is always tempted to take a fashion piece. I was targeting Benoit's swim outfit, the
Yeah,
matching tops and bottoms. Really, really wonderful. But no, I suppose it's much more straightforward than that for me. I love the mystery box.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
have
that's a good pick.
in the corner of my living room right now is a little basket full of, like, wooden and metal puzzles, right? Like, 2 nails twisted into a knot, uh, square block, bunch of different individual pieces, you gotta put it back together. I love puzzles. Puzzles are very much whether it be a jigsaw or one of these, like, little mechanical puzzles. So to have the mystery box on display, especially if it were functional, we actually get to slide the right direction and then watch it open, like, that beautiful all of that was so
yeah,
exquisitely designed, even if ultimately it was a bunch of, like, really tropey mystery puzzles, Fibonacci sequence, it's a compass. Um, I would love to have that on display in the house, have folks come and try their hand at it if they didn't know what to expect already.
Yeah. Yeah, those are perfect. I just can't believe it's down to me and no one's taken Jared Leto's hard kombucha or
Or Jeremy Renner's.
the Renning hot Jeremy Renner hot sauce.
Nice.
But no, I'm not going to take those condiments either, although I was tempted. I do have them written down here as possible picks. But no, I'm gonna not be too subtle. I would like the whole, uh, I realize this is a prop Mona Lisa, but I want that prop Mona Lisa and the glass
Mhm.
case that
Yep.
opens and closes, complete with the little statuette to bypass the security protocols. That is going to go in the art gallery of my prop cave and I'm gonna have a great time playing with it. And maybe I'll even swap out the Mona Lisa for another one of my future props someday.
Love that. Or maybe just your favorite
Mhm.
comic book. Maybe Hush goes in there for you.
There you go.
Very, very good. Um, great choice. I can't wait to find out what else from your prop cave ends up in that sealed box. Love that. Okay. I think that's it for extra credit, except we have a extra credit tonight because this isn't the last time we're going to be doing this together.
Mm,
Gentlemen, I'm not certain if the next time will be the last time either, but we'll get to that in just a bit. It's time to discuss the next installment in the Knives Out series. We've got Wake Up Dead Man coming soon, and we've all seen the teaser trailer. So I gotta know, Bill, what are your hopes, your expectations for the upcoming Knives Out mystery?
Well, it takes place in a church, so I hope there's a lot of discussion about Catholic guilt.
Catholic
yeah.
guilt, my guy.
Listen. Come on, Daredevil, tell me anything. It's like that sings to my heart. Um, Listen, just Andrew Scott and Benoit Blanc in a scene together. That's going to be some good stuff right there. Andrew Scott, if people don't know, only know him from maybe Fleabag, was
Hmm.
Moriarty in the Sherlock series, so he
Yep.
knows how to play that foil to a great detective.
Yep.
All This one looks it's I like that it's at this, like, kind of very dark and rainy setting that we have. It's very different than what we've seen, the idyllic Grecian islands, this classic New England setting. Now we're going someplace maybe a little it just is somewhat different. Just give me this more of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just want a great, interesting story that's told in a brilliant way, and, I think they're gonna hit their mark.
I hope so. It's a Christmas present I'm looking forward to. Randy,
Yeah,
what about you? Anything
Yeah.
specific you need from this?
I'm excited for a third genre and a third vibe. And we've already spoken to how much we love the cinematography in each of the first two films, but Ryan Johnson's just been describing this film as gothic,
yeah,
which
yeah.
which I think is absolutely the right word. And there are a couple of shots in this teaser trailer that we have that hit me in a much different way. Like we get this shot of church doors opening in a dark silhouette against this red background, followed by like this close up stabbing shot that's really heavy. Like I feel like I'm watching a Cohen Brothers movie more so than I feel like I'm watching like a Ryan Johnson. So I'm excited for this like epic, dark, gothic feel. To have this trifecta of three films, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I enjoy this new film, and I think it's gonna have a whole new look and feel. And like that's just so exciting and invigorating. In a world where I love lining up for all the superhero fare, and I get so much out of it. But it's so nice to know that there are other approaches to this kind of storytelling out there, also.
So well said. I love a gothic story. To your point, we talked about this earlier. He's established two totally different looks and feels
Yeah.
for these first two movies, and yet a cohesiveness. And I'm sure this will be more of the same. Um, I think for me, a lot of it, Bill, you joked about the Catholic guilt, but I'm right there with you. I honestly hope that this film is interested in exploring themes of faith and religion, what it looks like when that is organized and systematized versus when that is something personal and experiential.
Mm,
Ryan Johnson seemed interested in playing with those kinds of themes in his Star Wars entry,
yeah.
right? He was interested in what it really means to access the Force kind of separate from the formal idea of, Jedi dogma and Jedi training, right? Shout out to Broom Boy. So I hope that some of that is here in this movie. I think that Benoit Blanc is a character who I expect to have some really interesting thoughts
Yeah,
on this. Like,
yeah,
I don't necessarily expect this man to be an outright atheist, but I do expect him to have some strong anti-religious tendencies in terms of critiques of the organized,
Mhm.
systematized nature of religion in our world. I'll be curious how that plays into the greater mystery of it all. Um, and then there's just another great cast,
Yeah.
right? There's some faces here. I can't believe we're gonna get a, like, State Trooper Mila Kunis. I saw her
Yeah.
in the teaser trailer in some sort of a uniform. Can't wait for her in that role. Glenn Close is here. I've been terrified of Glenn Close since 101 Dalmatians. Can't wait to
as
see
you
what
should.
she has to do in this film. Yeah, dude, really scary. Not only that, I didn't even know she haunted my childhood in a different way.
Yes. I know what you're gonna
You
say.
know this, Randy. She's the male pirate who goes in the boo box in Hook,
Yep.
and she screams bloody murder. That scream really messed me up as a kid. Um,
Yes,
so yeah, Glenn Close. This is gonna be a blasty blast. The Sandman is here.
Yeah.
the pro wrestler.
The Spider-Man villain,
Oh, Tom St.
Thomas
Church.
Hayden Church, yeah.
Come on, or as he's known in my in-laws' house, the guy from Wings.
Guy from Wings.
Oh,
Bill, it's the
There you
second
go.
time you've brought up Wings on a pod with me recently, we've gotta talk some Wings. What a New England classic. Yeah.
yeah, it's a New England, and listen, you get Kerry Washington,
Kerry Washington,
and holy
exactly.
shit, Jeremy Renner's in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just gonna
yeah,
say, like, is everyone gonna mistake him for the hot sauce guy?
yep.
That's what I wanna know.
So, yeah, of course, Josh Brolin, but yeah, for me, those the 3 women, Kerry Washington, Mila
Yeah.
Kunis, and Glenn Close, I'm so excited to see, what part they each have to play in the greater mystery. Cool. So those are expectations. Let's talk about Benoit himself. Not only does the film have a new look, but Benoit Blanc has got a new look. So just give me a hot, not, give me more, certainly no. Bill, what do you think about Benoit's new look?
Hope he didn't get divorced because he looks like he let himself go a little bit, let the hair go. It's a little. I think he's going through something. I think he's going through something here. The only thing is, like, I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, Hugh Grant died, and I'd be like, it's like
No.
because it might,
It could
because he's not manicured, so that's
right.
very interesting.
Mm.
I'll be curious as well. Okay, Randy, does the look work for you?
I asked a version of this question last year because there were a few, like, leaked images that were out when we talked about Knives Out back in the fall. And I think I was a little bit down on this look, but with this recent rewatch and thinking about what Benoit Blanc has been going through, um, he's been letting himself stray further and further from this sort of like distant investigator mode. I feel like in the first Knives Out, I get the sense not that he didn't care about people before. I think he always did, but I don't know if he ever connected with someone the way he connected with Marta. I don't know if he's ever been so personally involved in something beyond the game. And if that's a new path for him, a new sort of like drug for him or interest for him or this new piece of his humanity, right? That relationship is even closer and more dangerous in this film with Helen, the way he goes out on a limb for her, the way, he puts that, weapon basically in her hands, this like highly flammable, Hindenburg inducing elements and strongly implies that he wants her to use it violently. I I'm kinda curious to see if there's a Benoit Blanc with some inner turmoil, right? Like, you spoke to everyone coming out of COVID. Um, I know I'm a different person since then
Mhm.
as well. Letting certain things go, changing your attitudes and values and on certain things. So, I'm a lot more intrigued now than I was back in the fall.
Yeah. A couple of great takes on this, like such a quick glimpse we've had, right? We don't really know anything about this plot yet, but I do think we know enough about this character that these are all valid deductions to make about why he might be rocking this new look. Um, I'm not so certain. First and foremost, I'll just say I think the look works for him. He's a handsome guy and he's still tailored to the nines,
Yeah.
but I prefer I think Daniel Craig looks better clean shaven
Yeah.
with the nice tight haircut. That being said, there is a weird contrast here, Bill, 'cause you're right, he's not well kempt, it's not quite a beard he's rocking, it does look like he's unshaven
Mhm.
in this teaser trailer, right? Rather than intentionally growing a beard, and the hair isn't super stylish, it is just, like, grown out, like, he just simply hasn't had time for a barber, so that being said, he is still tailored to the nines, right? He's still a sartorial king in this teaser trailer. So, Randy, I'm interested if maybe it is something about moving more towards an active like, he is
Yeah.
less manicured because he's less concerned about that image and that sense of detachment. He is much more organically connected
Yeah,
to
yeah,
things, and so maybe it's not about angst or but rather just a different relationship he now has to
yeah,
those things in his life versus what is maybe more
for sure.
important.
And it could be simpler because there's one big, mystery trope that we haven't done yet, which is, like, the detective versus the question of the supernatural,
Right.
right? That's where we seem to
Right.
be going, right? He says, "You say this is a miracle, but I'm not here to find miracles. I'm here to solve a murder."
It maybe the long hair is
So,
just so he can be that much more intense when he's gripping his hair
yeah.
in fear and frustration as he
So,
faces the supernatural.
yeah, I love to see him up against it.
I'm also a guy, Randy, you know, who I'll, like, change up my follicular tendencies, like, I'll grow the hair out, I'll
Yeah,
keep
I
it
look forward
short.
to it every pod, man.
Right. So, like, maybe that we don't need to look too much into it. Maybe he
Yeah.
just hasn't tried long hair before, and he decided now was the time for a new look. We shall
Follicular
see.
tendencies. God damn it.
Uh, okay, last question, and I don't know how obvious this one is, it feels obvious to me. We'll go to you first, Randy. Do you want more Knives Out beyond Ryan Johnson's current contract?
I want more Knives Out. It seems Ryan Johnson wants more Knives Out. I sure hope Daniel Craig does. My biggest thing is if they're gonna stick with Netflix, like let's commit to a bigger theatrical release
Mhm. Yeah.
moving forward. These movies belong in theaters. I'm a dad. That sometimes makes it tough to get to the theater immediately.
Mhm.
But like I will be buying tickets to Knives Out movies immediately for as long as they are making them. Even if Wake Up Dead Man doesn't do it for me, I'm gonna buy a ticket to the next Knives Out movie, because I know it's just a home run waiting to happen. So let's get it out there. Let's get it some more time in the theater.
Great call.
Yeah.
See it on the big screen, big silver screen. Bill, what about you? You're done with Knives Out, you don't want any more?
I'm on the fence,
Okay.
to be honest, to be fully honest
Okay.
with you, because in theory, it's like if you just let Ryan Johnson do his thing, it should be good. But it's diminishing returns after a while. Like, how long are you gonna keep this going? Like, are we expecting this every other year? We're gonna get a Knives Out movie. Like, I don't want it to be watered down because they are so good.
Mhm.
I also don't want Ryan Johnson just to be married to this franchise
Okay.
because he is such a great director. I want him
Mhm.
to see him do different things. But at the same time, if he's like, "Hey, this is what I wanna do. This is how I wanna ride my career out. I wanna make 3 more of these." Who am I to argue with that? Because if in his mind is just like it's different, it's not the Matrix sequels, a theory I have. Like, the first Matrix, all-timer, right?
Yeah.
They did not have sequels in mind when they made them.
Yep.
Because or at least it certainly didn't come off that way to me.
Yep.
Or it's like Matrix 2, The Search for More Money. Like, when people are like, "Oh, of course we've got more plans." Well, of course we've got plans. No, you don't. No, you don't. But if Ryan Johnson said to us, he's like, "I have 5 movies in mind for this." You know he has an idea for all of
Yeah.
Yeah.
them. But yeah, if like, and I never wanted to see it out of his hands. If Daniel Craig ever was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to see it go to anyone else,"
Yeah.
I think that you stop. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I will watch them, but I don't want to overexpose them, go too far. I don't want
Yeah.
this to be like Columbo, where it's like 40 years from now, it's still Columbo, and you're like, "All right, guys, let's just fucking
Yeah.
hang it up." You know?
I'm just laughing because I was gonna say, like, I don't mind a big break in between, but, like, I hope every now and then Ryan Johnson has that story idea and we can go back,
Mhm.
Yeah.
even if it is spread over decades. But yeah, I agree with you. Keep things fresh, keep some other work, happening in there, so absolutely.
That's what it boils down to for me. Bill, I think you distilled it pretty well. Of course, I want more of this, but I want more of this at the quality that we're currently getting it, right? So if it's ever a world where it's Netflix trying to make more happen and Ryan Johnson isn't interested or Daniel Craig isn't interested, then I'm not interested. But
Yeah,
if it is Ryan Johnson who wants to keep doing more, I'm I'm here for it. If it's uh, I'm not sure I want Ryan Johnson to do it without Daniel Craig. I'm not sure he
yeah,
would do it without Daniel Craig. Um, so those 2 things probably go hand in hand. I need them both on board. I want them both to be into it, not just contractually obligated for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I guess maybe just to add something new to the conversation, I'm a little bit interested in maybe the eventual Knives Out mystery where characters can circle back and the world
yeah,
can feel like it's populated with the same people. I'm not sure that we will see Marta again specifically or Andy, but some of the like the side players working their way in just into the background story of another future character would be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, like, I wouldn't mind with Keith Stanfield coming back.
there you
yeah,
go.
super cool.
Yeah, like, I think that
Or even if like whoever Don Johnson was cheating on his wife with in the first one, like she's a character in an upcoming
Yeah, yeah,
story,
yeah.
right? Just so
that's
he's like
not
a
yeah,
reference.
that's cool, but, like, to see Don John oh, like, if he's in a photo, I wouldn't mind
Right.
that.
He's
Like,
just
I
only
don't
referenced.
listen, I'm OG Miami Vice guy, so I'm never gonna hate on a Don Johnson cameo.
If
Beautiful,
if we
beautiful.
need a douchey racist white guy, we'll call Don Johnson. It's his new niche. Poor
No, we
guy.
don't.
No.
No, we don't need him because he's going to be off filming a new season of Watchmen.
I hope so. No, it's not happening.
Dude,
No, what's
great show.
isn't Lindelof doing Green Lanterns?
Uh,
Oh my gosh, yes, he is, and apparently there's, like, a lot of buzz coming out about that, so, yeah,
nice,
I'll see anything he puts his hands on, and it's DC property. Forget about it.
beautiful.
I know.
All right, guys. Well, we did it somehow. Bill Bodkin, thank you so much for just like pushing your body to the physical limits to somehow manage to watch this film while you were constantly conducting interviews, writing articles, editing work from like every single person over at the pop break,
And
working
2
a whole
hours of sleep.
separate yeah, working a whole separate job on top of that, caring for a sick child, and still coming in here and blowing my mind with your insights, your caring and your emotion. We are so lucky to have you here. Thank you so much, man. We really
Oh,
appreciate you.
I love coming on this. I'm gonna pass out in about 35 seconds after this episode ends. But no, I love coming on Media Lit. But I want to make it like Knives Out. Like, could I be on this show every week? I would love to be. But I love when we take our time, we come back together and we talk about something great
Yeah,
like this, the three of
yeah.
us. I have such a blast doing it. And I'll be seeing you guys in December or January when we decide to discuss our third film. But hopefully I'll see you sooner than that.
Absolutely.
Bill, you're my buddy, my brother from another mother. So grateful to be able to pod with you again. And we'll be together soon. I think we're all
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
doing a little Superman drafting for BBTN soon, so
Oh, yeah, yeah.
not
Of
not
course,
too long.
Chris is a guest on our Superman podcast. Randy, you have been a mainstay on our podcast. What was the last episode you were on? Because I
Uh
didn't look it up.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, which we had a blast talking about,
Yeah,
and
that was
that
so
was the
fun.
podcast I wanted you on. I'm like, I need Randy. I need some of that insight, and you brought it, my friend. So it was wonderful to
And
have.
you should know, we are currently developing an episode with Ninoshka. We're gonna watch a K drama, so
Oh my
timetable to
gosh,
be determined, but looking
one of
forward to
my
that.
one of my Rutgers kids. I'm proud of her.
Well, Bill, thank you again, and thank you to the podlings at home, as always, for tuning in. We really appreciate having your ears and/or eyes on this conversation. If you're looking for more media lit, jump into your favorite web browser search engine and just type out media/lit pod or Media Lit podcast, and you're going to find us on places like YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitter. We are out there sharing content, sharing pods, and we would love to chat with you. Please, most importantly, don't forget to check out our website. Um, Forgive me, Randy. Do you want me to put the URL here? I never know the URL off the top of my head.
No, it's linked from all the socials, though. It's easier that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Uh,
could remember you can go to Hotbot, you can go to Lycos, you can go to Dogpile, you can go to Excite,
Amazing.
all your favorite you can find. Immediately.
Most importantly, please do check out the website. You'll learn all sorts of things about Randy and I individually, this podcast and its vision, and you'll find all of the back episodes and some fun stuff linked along with them. Links will be in the episode description, so check us out on social media. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to give us your burning hot glass onion takes, if you can't
Yeah.
wait to talk about Daniel Craig's incredible fit game, please email us at media.slash.lit@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we appreciate it, whether that is positive or negative feedback. Um, we've been getting a lot of great stuff lately.
Tell us we're vainglorious buffoons if you must. We're here for
Yeah. Yeah, who even are those guys? All right.
Just don't say I'm a
Kris.
shithead because I'm really sensitive.
Kris, you are always so kind to run through that litany of social media outlets, but we've been, wink wink nudge nudging at some of your other work, but what else do you have going out in the podcasting world and where can folks find you on the socials?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. As we've established, I'm also the co-host of the Batman by the Numbers podcast. We are a monthly podcast on the popbreak.com. Go ahead and hover over the podcast tab there, and you'll find BBTN listed. We are a Batman podcast, and every month we like to go deep on the Dark Knight, but this year and this year alone, it is the year of Superman. We are in our world's finest era. We'll get back to some Batman before the year is out, but we're still hot on Superman. So check out our rankings of the live action Superman actors, rankings of the live action Superman films, and most recently our review of 2025's Superman. I'm
And
also an I'm also an actor and a voice actor. I'm a father and a husband. You can find me doing those things on Instagram and Blue Sky at Kris_Ingersoll. That's Chris spelled like Kringle.
And I'm your host, Randy Elaine, and you can find me on all those same social media outlets where you find Media Lit. Follow Chris's wonderful instructions, and then you'll see I've slapped my name onto all those things. So I'd love it if you followed me as well, and finding Media Lit is probably the easiest way to do that. You can also find me on thepopbreak.com. I do a lot of writing over there, and of course, you can find me on Pod of Doom, a Black Sabbath appreciation podcast. As we mentioned earlier in the pod, we are recording this a day after the news broke of Ozzy Osbourne's passing. I'm currently chatting with the boys to see whether or not we can get a little something together right away. But even if that doesn't materialize, we will be spending some time celebrating Ozzy on our next episode, one way or another. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you so much. You know what? Bill Bodkin is here, and I've just got to thank him one more time for Bill and Amanda hooking us up with their buddy Kelvin Cately, who recently came on to chat with us about 2003's The Love Below. He was a great dude. We had a very awesome, emotionally vulnerable, in-depth conversation about a 2003 album that I hadn't thought about carefully in a long time. So you should check that out. It's out there on YouTube and all your podcasters, whatever you want to call them, all those apps. You can find it right now. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time.